Google. All right. And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords Podcast, episode number 76. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who, in my opinion, has one of the most recognizable and iconic radio voices in the entire realm of gaming podcasts. Not only is this Lord a host of one of the best Xbox-centric platforms in the game, his knowledge and passion for gaming truly resonates, while still providing great entertainment with extremely high production values. Introducing the host of the Crossfire Podcast and Mooch and Crap in the Mornings, the godfather to many of your favorite YouTubers, and despite any misunderstandings in the past, the Lord currently focused on the common thread that drives us all, our passion for video games. Fellow Destiny fan.
Yes.
Fellow New York City sports fan.
Yes.
Making his debut into the realm of the Lords. My man, Lord Mooch. How you doing, sir?
Man, that is an intro that is, it blows me away, man. Listen, to be here with you guys right now, I've been looking forward to this. And we've been talking about this offline for a minute. And to make this happen is, and I think your gift that you sent out yesterday, right? We're like, we are going to make these two realms come together.
Facts.
That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about our passion, what drives us, the games we love, what brought us to this in the first place. And we're going to bring both audiences together for the first time today on the Lord's Day. So it is an honor and a privilege to be here with every one of you guys. Thank you, Lord. I appreciate it.
Much appreciated, man. Well said. Super hype, like Lord Mooch said.
Yes, sir.
Long overdue, treaty signed, official.
Yes.
We're going to do this thing. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk games, man, because that's what it's about. You already know. And of course, we have the Force Horsemen of Gaming and those usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, and the how of the young wolf. My man, Lord Addict, how you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. What you been playing, man?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
It's like clockwork. I know exactly what he's gonna do before he
Every time you been up that energy. What you been playing, bro?
Pretty much Destiny. That's about all. Actually, I've been playing Wolfenstein. I played South Park. I beat it this week.
Oh, nice. I see you talking about it,
man. Like every time I see Addict, he's playing something different.
That's the difficult game conqueror. Man beats everything.
On the real, South Park is not an easy game. Like it's
not easy.
At the very end, man, I was like, man, like I beat it on my first try, but I was like, I can't believe that just went down.
No doubt, difficult game conqueror in the building, another one notched up. And of course, we have our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Sostradamus, Mr. Offline Profile Illuminati and Lord Patreon of the Iron Bank. My man, Lord Sovereign, how you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing fantastic.
I just have a question for you, Cognito.
What is the question?
Do you have these intros written down? Because I don't know.
By this time, they're memorized.
I do have them written down, but actually, I just do them off the top. I don't even have to look at it.
He's a true professional.
There you go. That's right.
No. That's his OCD.
King knows. I'm very particular.
He's not playing.
What's funny is you guys will see behind the background what goes on in making those thumbnails, man. It's like 2 or 3 being made for everyone.
I'm particular. I like, things.
That's right.
That's a nice way to put it.
I'm
particular. That's a nice.
Yeah. I'm afflicted with OCD.
There you go. That's a better term. If I don't see the Lords in 5 minutes before the show, I'm particular.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I'm so happy that you are. I got a call.
Wait a minute. Where you at?
Nah, I know you put the text in the chat. Yo, it's everybody. He's really talking to me.
Yeah, right. Lord Son, what you been playing this week, man? I know you've been chastising me to throw that in this segment, so I've been following them.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. So I've been playing Destiny.
All right.
I got my blues.
Wait, were you online?
I was online. King can vouch for me. I
King,
didn't want to
confirm.
I wanted to get over.
Listen. Let me explain. When I get to my fraud report, y'all gonna hear it all. All right, because we got a lot of guys out here lording and frauding. So when I get to my fraud report,
let me elaborate on my
yes, please.
Play. All right, so I got my blues, right, and my solstice of heroes, right.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say,
did you hear the fraud in him? He said solstice of heroes. He said solstice. I'm just letting y'all hear. Don't let it slide out, man. Don't let it.
Solstice.
Okay. I want y'all to rewind the videotape.
Oh, you're gonna hate me right now, though. You're gonna hate me right now.
All right, what's going right now?
I love y'all, but y'all are stupid. You all stupid. I'm gonna tell you right now. You continue to allow yourselves to be bamboozled by this game. And I can't go there with you guys. I think I'm
do it. You're not ready for Forsaken.
Listen, man, I did my greens, and thank you to King, thank you to Hot Monkey, thank you to everybody who helped me. So when I get there, I get my blues, and I look at what I have to do, and I'm like, you see, this is why. This is why I grind.
I actually think the blue ones are easier to do than the green ones.
But it's not the point. It's the point that making you do the same stuff over and over again. Why do I need to be Gaul?
What are you talking about?
Why do I need to be Gaul like 4 or 5 times?
He's talking about the Redux missions.
Oh,
I do agree with him on that.
Yeah, that's whack.
The Redux is a little much. I gotta give some.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, come on, man. I'm like, really? So question, once I finish the blues, right?
Yes.
Do I have to do the same thing over again for purples? Or purples is the end?
You don't have to
do no purples is something different.
Yeah, they're different.
The purples is for the big boys in Destiny.
Yeah. Purple is real, and purple requires you to play with friends.
So now, question about this. Now, is there a thing for Forsaken where, like, if you haven't caught up, you just
yes, they usually do it.
Yeah.
Didn't they do it for Taken King?
See, they did that for Taken King, right? They gave the token or something like that.
Right, they give you the token to up your level.
I'm with you, Sav. I'm with you because here's the thing. I said the same thing. I'm stuck on the blues right now, right? And that's not because I'm stuck. I can't do it. I'm stuck because of time, and I'm running out of time. But
what is it? 28th is done, right? 28th, right?
28th done. But listen, Cognito and Addict they set me straight in the pre-show. Okay, they told me that once we get, they said once you get the purple, we have the rest of the time before Forsaken to finish that up to get to 400.
Yes.
So we're good.
You're good. Once you
I'm
get
stuck in the blues.
Yeah, you're fine, Sav. You ain't gotta worry.
Sav, I know what we're doing tonight.
No, and then you guys make me feel bad for not being in there. I'm like, are you kidding me? I have to do this stuff again. Oh my god.
I'm not used to being able to talk about Destiny this openly. We usually gotta meet like at some kind of corner and talk about it.
They kill you. Oh my god.
You mean to tell me, Mooch, you have like that section where they leave you a note? Here's where our hangout is today.
That's what it is. I swear to God. There's no listen. Crossfire does not. There's just not a Destiny crew there.
Xbox.
Xbox, yes.
Okay.
Xbox is you see him. You guys. I know a couple of you guys are in our Destiny thread. He keeps adding. It's like half the communities in that thread right now. But like he's got everything.
He's out of control. I had to jump out of that Discord.
He's got the master work for a pistol.
Yeah.
Who does that? Xbox.
I do.
He's got it all, man. So I just can't compete with him. But to be honest with you, this is Destiny 2. For a lot of people, they don't get it. And I'm not talking anybody into the game.
Right.
But I think you lords will understand what I'm saying here. But realistically, what that game is the community.
Game.
It's the community.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Because we all step away and then we all come back.
Yes.
And that's the thing.
For you to do that, you could step away and stuff. We get called frauds weekly if we don't play Destiny.
A month ago, Destiny was dead. Nobody's playing Destiny.
And no, that was not a month ago. We're gonna stop fraud and Lord.
I got you.
That's a month ago. I remember shows where we said Destiny's probably dead.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we got you back. Let's finish this up, man. And of course, we have the Incredible Hulk of this, aka the Excess Gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions, demands nothing less than that premium experience, and is the leader of the Fraud Alert movement.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
Beloved Lord King, how you doing, sir?
Oh, we are doing fantastic. We got a lot of dudes out here lording and frauding. And let's get to this fraud report. Oh man, so let's check this out. You know, I want to give a hard shout out to all the lords, lording and frauding, jumping in my parties. Like, yo, King, what's going on with this Destiny, the solstice? What day is it? Over? What you doing? I'm like, okay, and you know, you see them get on, and I can't lie. A lot of these guys only play at a certain time, and a lot of these guys, like, I can't really get on Lord Addict too much because he's streaming throughout the week. He's the leader and part of the stream team, you know, and so he has to do a lot of content on different games. So if he does jump in a party on the Saturday and he is rocking a green or blue, I look at him with the snide eye, but I'll send Monkey, yo, handle him, you know, take him through. Monkey knows the rigmarole of the stuff to get it done. Yeah, I used that. I said I was rigmarole. You got it. Then you got, you know, Lord Sovereign. He jumped Lord Fraud, but the reason why I can call him Lord Fraud because I understand how he games, but also remember this: he truly games multi-platform, so he will be on PlayStation.
Yeah,
completing games.
One Spider-Man is and Tomb Raider in my hand.
That's when we lose him.
Y'all gonna lose.
I already know.
We don't care. Listen, we don't care. We don't care. We understand you're a fraud. It's cool. Then we have Lord Brap. I got you. You listen, Brap. I catch you frauding all the time. You jump in, boy, but you put in your hours and I'm gonna knock this out, King. Yo, King. We gonna get this done, King. And I'm like, All my stuff is purple. All characters is masterworks. Everything is done. We have a lot of people in the clan. Listen, this is some true facts, all right? We have a lot of people in the clan that are getting messages and getting invites, and they're not joining and not trying to figure out what's going on with other clan members to see what it needs to be done, all right? And this fraud report isn't just for Destiny. Y'all guys, I got some other stuff for you in a second. But if somebody sends you an invite, I would just want you to look and see if he's in your clan. And if he's in your clan, even if you can't do something, just check in there, see what's up, yo, what y'all need, what's up, what's going on. Because
I want to interrupt you for a quick second, only because Lord Dizzy, I want to shout him out, and the those guys that came over, man, really much appreciated. The whole crew, Reaper, Frodo's already been down, Zero's already been down. You know what I'm saying? But to see them get together, he told me like, yo, Cog, like Rose, you know, his wifey, you know, people were coming and messaging her, hey, you need help with this and stuff like that. So he's like, I want to salute. So I want to shout out the ones that are doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely,
you know, because I'm telling them actively, we go through the list, we checking your clothes through the list. We looking at the raid report throughout the list. Lord, once he got a chance to run with the A team, he actually sees how the A team moves. So when we go on, we Sherpering people through raids. These are people that's never done raids. Shout out to Destiny for putting that in the game. That you're able to pick people up that have absolutely no skill in raids, and you can take them and show them how to do raids. And that's how we're adding people to the clan, because a lot of these people are highly skilled to do these raids, but they don't have a clan. I told you before, if you're actively playing and you have to look around for friends, come to us. Don't worry about it. We'll take you. I don't want these people that just want the whisper. Like shout out to Buddha Time.
Bounce out. Yeah.
Shout out to Buddha Time. Captain Fraud. Got you. Gotta call you out for frauding on that, Captain Buddha Time. I think your man is. Yeah. I think your buddy Buddha Time is gonna get kicked out the clan if he's not an active member. All right.
Shout out to Buddha Time. He's a good guy.
Yo, listen, Buddha, I love you, Buddha, but you're frauding. Yo, you Sony dudes. Listen, I know I fraud when it comes to Xbox stuff. When y'all told me the Kraken didn't have a body, I had to own up to my fraud, right? That's Spider-Man though. Yo, J-Dubs.
We'll talk about it later.
Let's say
no. I gotta call this fraud out because they was all over my Twitter line. Listen, y'all was on my Twitter line at least yesterday for 10 hours talking about the same thing, frauding about how Microsoft got the services and all this other stuff, and then y'all going in on Spider-Man. Listen, that pictures are not the same. Sony's out here frauding, but for you not to own up to your fraud and for you to hide back in the bush heaters on, and I got the pictures and the facts. I saw you. You're a fraud, and calling you out, J-Dubs. Fraud.
Shut up,
And listen. Yes, that's my dude. He knows he's my dude. But Def, you're a
Cat
fraud
Daddy
dude.
said you on
There
your
we go.
sugar
We off.
Death Row recruitment ILP mode. That's what he said.
Yo, he knows that. Get down and lay down. You know that. Let's go. Listen, and that's the end of the fraud report. Let's go.
Right, fraud report has ended. And of course, we have the gaming ninja himself, the Shinobi LordCognito, spreading that realness in the realm of the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. For me, it's been pretty much the same. Everybody, the rest of the Lords, Destiny 2, Mooch already know. And actually, Phantom Doctrine just released. It's a XCOM style game. If you guys are big fans of XCOM, please check it out. Have it up on the Iron Lord Podcast YouTube channel. Little walkthrough. It's kind of like a mix of XCOM, but with spy and espionage mechanics. Really cool, really fun. Shout out to those guys over there at Cold Fusion Games and Creative Forge Games and Good Shepherd Entertainment. Definitely like what they was doing over there. And of course, Lord Saw Ryo, the legend, Shenmue Return.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I had to throw that on and be reminded of why I don't like tank controls.
Yeah, throw that game in the bushes.
It's a funny thing. I've said this in the past. Nostalgia is a funny thing. It's a treacherous thing.
Graphically, I'm okay. The loading is fantastic. Because I remember on the Dreamcast, I don't know, Mooch, if you had Shenmue.
Listen, your boy Mooch is in the works right now. Mooch and Shenmue 1 and 2. Trying my damnedest. It's hard when you got to go back. And let me tell you something. Whoever was just saying that, I think it was Saab. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. All right, you do realize this, right? Because we all take that drug every single time these old games come around. Listen, we've all been there, right, since the beginning of NES days. Maybe before. Maybe you guys don't want to admit it, but you were there when Coleco was around. The thing about it is this, okay? We played those games. We had those memories. We had that feeling we had with those games, that connection. But you got to admit, and this is a me problem, probably. But realistically, here's my issue. The minute I pop these games back on, I realized that memory was better when Mooch was 60. Right? I had a hard time with this.
It's better left in the bushes.
Yes, leave that memory behind. Look, you don't want to relive that 8-year-old birthday.
Listen,
let it be.
You're not lying. There's a lot of accuracy to what you said, and you do remember how much things have been.
Addict told you so.
Addict did tell me so, but I'm still having fun. My only thing is I just don't like the control. I just wish they had an updated control scheme because he still moves around like a tank, and just to look at an item or a cabinet in a room is really frustrating. It shouldn't be. I shouldn't have to do a code
weird they didn't
to open a drawer.
The controller scheme. Usually that's the one thing they always do.
Yeah, again, maybe I haven't found it. I got to mess around with the mains a little bit, but I will say, because again, coming from the Dreamcast, Lord King remembers going between a door and an outside area with the loading would be atrocious. Yeah, I remember. So the loading is fantastic. So it really makes things zippy and smooth. And my thing is right off the bat off, had to put the Japanese dub on, bro. That English
voiceover is horrible.
No disrespect. I put Japanese dub with the text, so it felt like a true kung fu flick, 1970. That's what I needed.
The thing about it is, like, at the beginning of the game, right, it's only like his father gets murdered. His father gets murdered, and like 2 days later, they're all right. They're all walking around. It's like nothing happened. It's like,
I know. Let's get into it, man. Oh, man. So now that the Lords have kind of gotten into what we've already been playing this week, I want to start off with Lord Mooch, his video game system history, and of course, what led him to become one of the early pioneers, and I call him the godfather, one of the godfathers of the Xbox YouTube movement. So, Lord Mooch, let's start from the very beginning with some OG gaming talk.
Yes.
What were some of the first video game systems you had, and what got you into gaming?
So realistic. So you show your age here, but I'll pretend that I bought them after the fact. But right, it was the whole like Coleco thing. That's dating ourselves, all right?
That's my heart, right there. That's my first system.
Getting into that Zaxxon, playing. We thought what we thought was the arcade in our living room back in the day, and you didn't realize that the arcade was on the way with that NES. Right? So listen, a lot of people don't really realize this about me. They think just because I'm an Xbox guy that I don't listen. I grew up on JRPGs. I grew up with the way that the NES. Listen, I know, I think I'm in good company here, but a lot of people that are Xbox fans are all Sega, right? They're all Sega. Yep. I was NES all day, and I went to war.
Oh, you
went
to
Nintendo? Yes,
you went to war.
Yes. I did my due diligence. Oh, right. Here it is. There it is. I knew someone was going to start coming at me with that propaganda. Right?
Fanboy Wars.
But listen, that's what it is.
Blastmaster processing. Let's go.
You know? And listen, I've said this all along, and I want to get back to your question too, Cognito. So I'm not gonna venture off that beat. But console wars is healthy if it's done properly. Okay? Yes. It's been going on since before any of us even picked up a controller.
Console wars low key help push competition.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying, Addict. That's the whole thing I've been trying to push through. It's like, listen, if we do it in the right manner, right, and we've all kind of gone through these motions over the past 4 or 5 years, it is good for the business. And you know that Phil and Yoshida are sitting there with big grins when we go back and forth. They're like, look at these fools buying both of them.
Yep.
Look at them buying everything. So we're doing there, but getting back to the subject though, I was a Nintendo guy. I was hardcore on that. I loved like the Legend of Zelda. I love Final Fantasy. Listen, there was a reason I was tweeting earlier this morning about getting on that Octopath Traveler. Okay, that's bringing back memories, right? So realistically speaking, I've been gaming since before I'm even wanting to talk about. I've been gaming for a long time, but realistically, with time, things changed. And I got into the world of, like you saw, the Halo and the first-person shooter. And I think that's why I have a hard time sometimes going back. And living in those Shenmue days, or going far enough back to say, like, I can't wait to get back into Final Fantasy VII. I want to see it. I might want to experience it, but I don't know if I want to get lost in it again.
Good point. Let me ask you a question. So I'm at Lord Mooch. So you are more of a fan of a remake than a remaster. So you like, say for example, if it's a classic game that you like, you rather than build it up with today's assets, and more of a modern feel than actually just porting up and a resolution of the same kind of a game, kind of like what Shenmue kind of have done right now. Yeah,
exactly. Like, so Shenmue's got Shenmue has brought the 4K, maybe some 4K, or they're trying their best to get to that image texture, right?
Yeah,
they cleaned up some of the 1080p. They clean. They're trying. They're cleaning the lines up a little bit. They're making the UI a little bit more crisp, so it's not that faded etched look. That's fine. But realistically, it's really just a paint job. So, you know what I'm saying? So realistically, what I like to see is what they did now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe like Crash Bandicoot, right? That was rebuilt from the ground up. I believe.
Yeah, but it was still the same thing.
It is.
It's not like this Resident Evil that's coming out, Resident Evil 2. That is really a good looking, different take on it, So
you know what it is? That's where they're using a whole new engine. Right?
Yeah.
They're using the Biohazard engine on that, the Resident Evil 7 engine.
All they see stuff like that is just a quick buck. They put it has a low output, and you go out there, ask to how much was Shenmue?
It's $30.
30?
Yeah, $30
for two games. You get one and two.
Even if the games don't play any different from 15 years ago,
right?
I think $30 is fair for 2 games.
I think that's a fair price.
Would I ever buy it? No,
it's not for you.
It is. I mean,
it's not calling you.
To be honest with you, Shenmue 3 looking pretty spooky too.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm throwing that straight in the bushes. I'm not walking next to that at all. That's
someone did a side by side, not to interrupt, but someone did a side by side and low key saw and moved like the part 1 Land D face render looked better than the 3. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? But back to Mooch. I know what you said, Mooch, about the nostalgia. I got you. I want to pull you back just a bit because I know you said Coleco and all that good stuff. I know you wasn't Nintendo. Give me those Nintendo systems. What's the kind of your order chronologically of what you had from a console standpoint?
Well, that's it went right up that chain. So you're talking about. So we went from Coleco to NES, SNES, Genesis, GameCube. Then we went, and I even got the Game Gear. I even got the small portable. It's sitting. Listen, I'll snap a picture if I have to. It's sitting right in front of me. I actually have it on the wall. Listen, I have Like I got into every single, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. Had those all the way up to the current day. I've been playing on everything, but just like everything in life, right? I know everybody on this panel probably had a Ford, you'd had a Chevy, you had a this, but when someone says to you, "What's your favorite?" You got one. Yes. Yeah, and realistically, per generation, and it's been this way for a while, and it even took me a while. A lot of people, I've said this on different shows, I've said it on my own show, is that I was with PlayStation 2 even when the OG Xbox came out. Like I was still PlayStation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It took me a minute to come over. I didn't see that and just fall in love with it. A lot of people are like, oh, I just saw it and I fell in love with it. It takes Mooch a while to come around, all right? I don't always just come around. So I finally got into the Xbox vibe when I saw what they were doing with first-person shooters and changing that. But getting back to the past, because there's a couple people in the chat that are like, Mooch, tell us a little bit about. Like, I really did get into the JRPGs, and we made it a family thing, right? That was our thing when we were kids, right? We would my dad was into gaming. So he was, yes, right? So it's the same thing we try to do now with the family. We try to genuinely get together. That's why I think it's important to have all the, if I always say this, if it's within your financial means, you should have all the consoles, because why deprive the kids? Let them try and let them find their own path, right? So we didn't have, these are the things we didn't have. Even the Switch, man, come on, don't leave. I just told you I'm diehard Nintendo. I really am, deep down inside my youth.
I just did that to poke at Cognito.
He's going at Starvin Incognito right now.
I have a Switch.
But you know, the kids, and it's funny though, right? When we were all growing up, we didn't have that opportunity, because even though I had all those, it wasn't like I was privileged to get them all day one. I'm talking about, these are spread over years before I got them. I didn't get Genesis for a while after the SNES. I mean, I'm talking about years, not months, not weeks. Like, look at all of us now. We're like, maybe I will go get the PS5 after I get the Xbox 2. But that's a privilege we have nowadays, how things are set up. And we're gonna get into Xbox All Access. I know we're gonna talk about this today, and that's a huge selling point we should talk about. But absolutely, like, we had to appreciate. Look at the game Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, bro.
We weren't allowed to curse in the house, but I wanted to. Right? That game right there, right? I played that till my fingers bled. Okay, Super Ghosts and Goblins. Did you have the Super Graphics one? Because I had Turbo Graphics, I had Turbo Duo, and Super Graphics. And Super Graphics was arcade. I did not have that.
Yeah,
it was kind of hard to get Super Graphics.
Yeah, I remember I had to go to Elizabeth Street Canal to go get my systems. That system was $500, but I got it.
We had the spots downtown. Yep. We used to get the imports like 1 year ahead of US release. So we would get to things out. We had to mess around with the UI and figure what the hell we were doing. And I believe with PlayStation, the X and the circle button were reversed for the Japanese.
And don't tell me that's not bothering you guys. Don't tell me that's not bothering you guys too with the Switch. All right? How dare they make the B button the A button and switch it out?
It mentally messes with me. Yeah.
Approve that. Right?
I said, who approved that?
You know how many mistakes I've made on the menu screen alone? Yes. No, listen. But realistically, like, getting back to it, like, they don't realize. Listen, everybody on this panel, thank God, I feel like I'm at home. People love Destiny, right? So Destiny, you get so far, and maybe you're trying to do something on your own. You're doing the nightfall or something. You die, and you're like, please, God, don't let it go all the way back. Yes. Right? Back, please. Right? Even if you're not holy, you are praying to something. The minute you die, and that fade, the light goes out. So I'm like, all right, listen, thank God they only brought me halfway back. Whatever. My point is, when we were kids, everybody on this panel knows this. When we were kids, they don't know. These people today, they don't know what difficulty is. Yes. You had 3 lives.
Yes.
3.
You had to beat that game in one sitting. It wasn't
one sitting.
It was Tony, that was real difficult game conquering addict.
Remember when your friends would ring the doorbell like, we're playing basketball? I was like, not today. I got 1 life left and 2 hours to go. You know what I mean? Like, we'll do this tomorrow. Like, that's the way life was. You had to, like, you paused the game, you ate, you came back, and you were focused. Yes. Focused.
Right? I'm so with you right now.
You know what I'm saying?
When you got a one-up back then, you got a one-up. That's when you was like, yes, oh my God, I can die at least.
I used to jump after that mushroom. Remember that mushroom used to pop up for the 1-up? I jumped on that like a football on the 1-yard line.
Or when you used to have to, like, turn the TV off and change the channel to let your parents think
so your parents don't know.
Yes. Oh, my mom's would come home working on a Saturday. She said, you weren't playing video games, were you? And I was like, I had to quickly switch that A-B switch.
Yep.
People don't even know what the A-B switch is. And if you don't worry about it. But realistically,
converted on channel 3 to channel 4.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
The RF switch in the back.
They don't even know. Difficulty.
Listen, the great thing.
Go ahead.
The great thing.
Here it comes.
The RF switch, it wasn't gray.
You talking about the little box?
Yes.
It had RF switch and you click it. See, listen. What these guys don't know is you needed utensils and tools to get in the back of your TV to hook this thing up. And listen, you could have shocked yourself. You could have electrocuted yourself. You really didn't care. You needed a scissors.
Yes.
If you didn't have scissors, you needed a butter knife. You got back there, you screwed it in, and always those wires broke. So you had to take the copper wire and wrap it around the screw and make sure it stayed inside. Listen, y'all got it good now. HDMI in or Wi-Fi.
This is another reason everybody on this panel doesn't mind this. Do you remember the whole talk about Xbox getting rid of the power brick and people were upset about it? I used to say, why are we so worried about that power brick? It's a one-time and done. Do you remember that Coleco and Sega power block that we plugged into the wall?
What?
It had the little screw in the bottom so it could actually stay there. It was so heavy it would fall out. That was hard times. Somebody get the screwdriver. I want to play some Nintendo. What?
Yo, the cat loving you right now, Mooch. I'm
telling you, it's the truth. We know this.
Oh, stop it, boss. Was you young? Shout out to 480p.
Yo, they better hit those likes. They better hit those likes. We got 67 people watching.
Yes. We used to needle those players to turn on our old tube TV. That's when we had the big
yes. Oh, yeah.
Because that dial fell off.
Yo. It was so terrible. Those TVs were so heavy that we had a floor model, but we had a TV on top of the floor model. If the TV died, it just stayed there.
Yep. You had to dust the television. It was furniture.
Now, let me bring you back one quick second. You actually said something, one of our first guests, first person, what you really said. You mentioned the Game Gear, right? And I want to talk about, we don't get a chance to really mention portables, right? Like, how big were portables back then? Because I know for me, Game Gear was big. I know the battery life was a little rough. You know what I'm saying? But, that was the age of Game Boy. And I got to admit, man, sadly, I was an Atari Lynx fan. Remember Atari Lynx?
I completely honest with you guys. Yeah. I haven't played any handheld that Sony or Microsoft has made.
Microsoft not.
Sony came later. Sony came later.
Sony and Nintendo. Sony and Nintendo.
I don't know where all the lords are living right now. I know a couple of you cats are definitely on the East Coast for sure. Okay, we're all East Coast. Okay, so you guys will get this, right? Listen, I got the Switch, and even with the portability things, like we were talking about Game Gear, or you talking about Game Boy. Realistically, if you weren't going on a family trip, which is rare, that portability went from sitting on the floor in front of that furniture console we used to have to sitting on the couch. That's all it meant was now I could sit on the couch and play the game. Because before I had to sit style in front of the television set.
That is true.
That was traveling. Okay, I traveled to the couch. So
that is true.
We take that for granted too now that these controllers reach our couch. That wasn't the way it was back in the day.
Oh, bro. Okay, cataracts is real.
So, right? So when you see all these these gaming media sites that are on the West Coast, and they're like, I took my Switch up to the roof. I took my Switch over. I'm like, we don't do that over here on the East Coast. I never took my Switch to go get a sandwich.
Mooch, you mean to say that the Switch commercial wasn't realistic to you?
No.
That you were at the rooftop party with Switch.
That was ridiculous.
No, we don't do rooftop parties in New York because our rooftops are 75,000 stories high. People got to sign, right? They got to sign a warrant or some kind of thing so they don't sue you when you're on top of a roof in New York. We don't do that here. The
majority of roofs around these kind of areas, they aren't even built to be on.
They're not.
No, that's only if it's there's an emergency that you're supposed to touch that roof. Other than that, it's against the law in New York.
Who's hanging out on a single roof in New York?
Well,
get out of here.
I'm from Arizona. I've seen it a lot in Arizona. Like, they built their roofs to do shit like that.
You know,
they don't have snow and stuff. They don't have to worry.
You know what it is, and maybe you make a good point there, Adam, because I think what it is that here in New York, and I'm not going to speak for every household, it depends on your water table level, but like we have basements. People talk about man caves. I think out there they don't have basements. Maybe that is like useful square footage. And I know my friends that do it, right? Well, it's nice out there, right? It's not nice over here. It snows.
He said when the realtor's showing you the house and look at the roof.
And let's go to the roof. They say
that footage of the roof is incredible.
You know when they do those Vegas shows on HGTV and they show you California, they're like, now we're gonna go up to the roof, and I'm like, the roof?
I'm dead.
They got a barbecue up there.
I am dead right now.
We don't do that.
Switch commercials and people on the basketball court with their switches. Oh my god, the unrealisticness is hilarious. Now, I will say I am the guy in the Switch commercial that does it on the plane. Like I'm that guy.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I've done it.
That's
to be honest with you, I tried to play the Switch when I went to LA and when I went to
E3.
PAX.
Mm-hmm.
I can't I'm uneasy when I'm on a plane, so I can't focus on a Switch. I have to go to sleep. Like I have to.
Well, here's what I want to ask Cognito though. If you were using it on the plane, explain this to me because I've done it too. Okay. Tell the audience about the looks you get from the people sitting across the hall. Like, is that a grown man playing a video game? You're like, yes, it is.
Yes, it's a grown man doing that. I'm very
I want to turn around to them and say, is that a grown man sitting doing a crossword puzzle?
Exactly. Listen, I ain't a small dude.
Right? Well, then maybe they're looking at you like that. Then they're like, I don't want to mess with him.
First to look at you and then be like, oh, you want to see what this is? Because clearly you're interested in the way you looking at it.
Yes, right?
I'm well past that stigma that children play video games and adults shouldn't, because I never saw a child go inside a store and pull out his credit card and purchase a system for $500. So it's not made for them, to be honest. Let's keep it 100%.
Yeah,
some kids are fortunate to have parents that really care to buy them these systems, but it's really made for us.
The only thing I gotta give Mooch though is with the Switch. Like I try to use it because I don't like to use the Joy-Cons. That feel a little, like you got.
Of course it does.
When you pop those Joy-Cons out, that's when your freak come out. You're like,
you feel like you're in the club. You got the glow sticks and something like that. I'm good on that part.
That's another thing that's misadvertising with those roof parties. People be like, "Let me get that Joy-Con next." No one's saying that. I want the Pro Controller. I don't want that little junior mitt in my hand. It's ridiculous.
Junior mitt.
Right? Look at you see those things? They're like little Tic Tacs for the AB button.
Hey, Mooch. It's okay. They give you protection for it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. This is true.
But anyway, so we got that going. So now, as like I said, most of us know. Let's talk about just Xbox specifically, because you did say PlayStation. That everyone had that PS2. It was just dominant. It was the reign. Xbox kind of comes out as the new kid on the block. We're a little skeptical, a lot of us. But so Lord Mooch, like, what kind of got you into the ecosystem? Like, what made you say, okay, this is what I'm talking about, and really kind of galvanized you as far as one of your favorite brands?
It was Fable, wasn't it? Don't lie.
No, definitely not. So you're talking about over the course of no.
I'm talking about Mooch, like going through your console history. Like you said, you had the PlayStation 2, and then the original OG comes out. You were kind of on the fence because you said Mooch doesn't just run out and get everything.
No,
you pressed. Nope. So like, what kind of what got you over the hump into the Xbox?
Into the Xbox. So listen. So we're talking about going all the way from 01. And realistically, I've got to fast forward to about 07, 08, and it was my brother. He was really into it, so he went and grabbed the 360 when the 360 first came out, and I'm still holding on to that PlayStation. I'm like, oh no. He brings me over, right? He brings me over an Xbox. He's like, it's time to get real. Brings me over to the Xbox and slaps down Gears of War. And let me tell you something. That's when the shit hit the fan. I'm like, this is real right here. This is when I said, what's going on? Why am I still on this shit? Why am I still what the hell is going on over here on this Xbox? And that was it. And maybe you might call it late to the party. Here it is in 2018. It's easy to say 2007 was a minute ago. But realistically, it's kind of late to the party, right? But that was the game that opened my eyes, right? That was when I saw the world in color, right? I was like, this is what's happening right now, right? This is crazy.
Let me tell you something, because you're hitting it on the head. Like that game, I remember the trailer. King saw
the commercial. Me and him.
Remember that Cold World song?
Yes.
And him, Marcus Phoenix shooting, and it was just millions, all the aliens coming at him. It blew my mind. Like that was a tone piece, and I believe. Shout out to Ryan McCaffrey. Shout out to Peter Moore. I believe Ryan McCaffrey had a show was excellent. He had like it was kind of like the generations of Xbox. He had Seamus Blackley.
Back in the day.
He had Peter Moore, and he had Phil. And when Peter was talking, he talked about the boardroom when they brought that in to kind of show them, and how emotionally, like people were like they've never seen anything. It was just silence. Like that Cold World trailer made me want to pick up Gears. I'll never forget. I'm glad you said that much. That game was, man, for its time.
You know, that interview you're talking about, if no one has seen it, that is a great interview to watch, to see Peter Moore, Phil, and our boy Seamus sitting there. And you can see by the way each of them talks about their experience through Xbox, right? How hard. I mean, you want to talk about being a pioneer. Okay. And I know we're going to get into, I think one of the questions you had for me too, was, how I got into Xbox. Or excuse me, not just Xbox, but YouTube and the whole thing that we all do today, right? And here's the thing, before we get into that, to see Seamus Blackley and what he had to do to preach to the CEOs at the time that this was going to be something, that man is open to discuss all types of games with every one of us, right? That man climbed the tallest, steepest mountain to get where Xbox is today, where, people are like, well, Phil had to preach this and Phil had to preach that. And no doubt he did. But Seamus Blackley, when he walked in and was like, so this Xbox, right? They were like, yeah, all right, right? Yeah, can somebody tell him that we need more water in the water cooler? Get him out, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, this man went to war for everybody. That's why with Seamus, I don't care what he tweets. Whatever he tweets, I'm like, retweet that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic point, Lord Mooch, because like you said, out Seamus, like, them in the console space was considered a joke. If you listen to many stories, he's been on numerous podcasts, and people forget the struggle. Like, Windows was so dominant back then, and it was just anything like Microsoft into gaming, it was like an afterthought. So for him to pioneer that, you're right. He doesn't get enough credit as the father of Xbox, like him, Jay Allen, all those guys. Like, that was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to push that forward, because it was so much pushback, and to get that thing out. And a lot of people say the OG wasn't successful, and I get that, but that kind of laid the foundation, Peter and then Phil and all those guys, to kind of get the thing going, man.
Yes, the ball was rolling, man. And listen, each of them had their struggles. Everyone had their trials and tribulations through being the CEO of, the head of Xbox. But realistically, when you see what the guys had to do back in the day, we just discussed it right now, where we take the Switch on the road, or we have these shows. We have people at work, all of us. I have a lot of my friends in life. They say, they're like, really, you go home and play video games? I go, you really go home and watch The Voice?
Tell them about it.
You know what I mean? Don't tell me you're going to sit there and watch The Voice for 2 hours, 3 days a week. Like, we are putting hand-eye coordination to work. Okay?
Exactly. Besides movies, video games is what's pushing television technology forward.
Yes.
What you don't understand is we were gaming on 480, not even 480p. It was sub 480p, 480i's. Remember Interlace? Remember that? It was like 480i television. And it didn't get pushed forward until the medium of movies and video games, because they saw the market started pushing it forward. DVDs brought the clarity up. Now HD DVD versus Blu-ray brought the clarity up. So it pushed it into everybody's homes, and we're pushing the technology along with the PC to push these graphics and these television resolutions all the way up. They talk about 8K now, and I'm pretty sure these new systems coming out later is going to try some 8K. One of them is going to try some 8K.
You couldn't have preached any better than what you just said. There was no way, okay? You go back before video games hit like mainstream media like it is now. We were holding on to TVs for a decade, maybe a decade plus. And now you got people who just bought a 4K being like, maybe I could get something if they got the free sync in it. Maybe I'll switch up after 3 years. That's what this gaming industry has done. It does promote. The technology is moving at a rapid rate, but we might not have made that move financially if it wasn't for these video games. So, King, good point, King.
Good point. You guys nailed it. Because I remember with the OG Xbox, like, hey, you need Ethernet. Like, it's no more dial up. Like, and Xbox doesn't get enough credit for pushing a lot of things forward. Like, there were certain things you're like, okay.
It's hard to tell if Xbox wouldn't have came out with Xbox Live, would internet be where it is?
Because
the gaming industry pushed the internet industry to where they had to increase because people wanting to play these games, so they had to compete with each other to get the best form out.
Yep.
Yeah, and even with the television market, right? When the 360 came out, like 720p, that was like the standard.
And they had to boost. We had to boost that resolution up. HDMI. When the system had HDMI built in, it was a big thing. Absolutely. It was a huge thing because the systems forced this evolution, this change, the crossover.
Yes, absolutely, man. So back to Mooch, man. Like, history, man. So that was what did it. So yeah, I got it. That's what I needed to know. That was what Transform X got you. So let's now transition, because obviously you got a big history, and then the whole getting into YouTube, right? And we've talked offline, like in my opinion, you got one of these iconic voices. You know what I'm saying? Like you built for radio, like you're built to do this. So how did that whole passion now translate into getting into YouTube? How did that start? Yeah,
and this is a great story, man. And I enjoy telling it, because a lot of people don't know, and that's what's great about coming on the show and being able to talk to your audience as well. Is so we had this passion. Everyone on this panel has this passion built, and that's why we're doing it. But I'm sitting there, back in 2012, 2013, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing all this reading, and I'm excited because we've all waited too damn long between last generation and the generation we're currently in, and I was amped, and I saw the great potential that was coming out of, like I said, we'd like to see technology kind of roll forward. So I saw these things that the Xbox One was doing, and I know the media didn't care for it, but I did. I liked the idea of Kinect. Did I like Kinect games? Not really, but I liked what the Kinect. I said we are moving forward. Okay? We're in 2 points. The Kinect being one of them. The other one is the HDMI in. Okay, because now when I come home, just like everybody does in their household, puts on their television. Now I can put my television on, and I can know that my friend King is playing. I can know that Cognito is on. I can know Sav is on. I know Addict is hitting me up to play Destiny. And if I can't, I can message you back and say, I'll get with you later. Okay. This is what I saw coming down the pipeline. And when I saw that the PS4 was just going to be a better looking PS3, I said, okay, all right. That's fine. That's what we do in progression, right? We are going forward. But when I saw Microsoft was taking the 360 up and then giving me things I didn't even know we could do. Okay. That's when I said, so to get back into it. So I saw all this happening, and I saw all this negativity coming from the media, right? So we saw all this. We all saw it with our own eyes. I don't have to tell you, right? So here I am. I'm flipping through YouTube. I'm checking stuff out. YouTube to me is still kind of new. YouTube back in the day, you go back to 2011 and before, YouTube was like, how do you fix your washer and dryer? That's all I did with YouTube, okay? There's a couple people streaming games, but I wasn't that interested on that. I was like, I don't know. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, just like, he says it, I'm going to give him credit in a second. I stumbled upon Zaire. And I'm watching. Shout out to Z, that the true Godfather.
One of the yes,
he is
part of that triumph.
I don't go on one show without giving credit where credit's due, and Zaire is the original, the pioneer.
Definitely a Godfather. A lot of users have to give credit. Absolutely.
Have to, whether you like the content or not. He is absolutely the man who started it all. So, but I'm watching, and I said, this man has got. First of all, Zaire should be doing more than YouTube. That man is pure. He knows how to entertain. He knows how to make people laugh. And that's something that you can write things. You can do script. Some things just come natural. I was drawn right to Z's channel. So I go there and I said, I'm sitting there. So I watch, and I'm watching just his 10-minute segments. I'm watching the whole thing. Then I start watching him doing this BGST. I said, you know what? Now he's doing some comic relief. We've got, shout out to Crap Gamer. Crap's kind of doing the news, right? He's reading the news. The panel's reacting. Right? We all take this for granted now, but these two guys are doing this thing. They got this thing cooking. And I turn over to my family. I said, these guys need me. Right? That's what I'm saying, right?
You're like, I got to get on.
I'm like, I need to do this. So I said, well, how do you do this without, Z and Crap, they always tell their stories about it. And they make it joke. But I reached out to Z and I said, Z, I'm checking out your show. I think it's great. I said, I'd like to, try out, because I know you said a couple people at the time had left BGST. How do I do that? So Z gets a hold of me. We go back and forth. And he's doing an interview process. He wants to make sure, you're not some crazy little,
absolutely.
So he was going back and forth. We're asking each other questions, right? So out of nowhere, here I am on a Sunday afternoon. I'm sitting here. I believe it was, I want to say it was it was definitely 2014, early 2014. My phone goes off. And I said, wait a minute. Zaire, he said, you still want to do this podcast thing? I said, absolutely. And I'm thinking he's, like what we talked about, Cognito, we're like, let's get our dates together. We'll make something work out. Same thing with Crossfire. We got stuff going on. He's like, you still want to do this? I write back, yes, absolutely. He's like, all right, be ready by 6:30 tonight. I'm like, oh shit. Right? I never did this before. I'm like, somebody get me a microphone.
Right.
So I'm screaming that out the window. So I get everything set up. I go on there and do the show. And afterwards I get some feedback from Z. Crap gets a hold of me and they're like, you did pretty good. I go, you just butter my roll. What's the deal? And he's like, no, listen, we've had people on the show, and I always call Paul a Walt Disney. Sometimes you have people on the show, and they love the show. They love the idea. But just because you can buy a microphone doesn't mean you should use a microphone. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. That's the way it is sometimes. So I said, did I, he's like, listen, I'll let you know, but I definitely want to get you back on the show. And I said, all right, that's bad. I said, that is realistically the biggest compliment you could do. So time went by, about a week goes by, all of a sudden I get pinged again. He's like, you want to do this? So I said, yeah. Then he goes, do you want to do this regularly? I said, absolutely. E3 comes, and people were doing a little doom and gloom, but I dug what I saw in 2014 at E3. Okay, I liked the direction. I saw at the time we saw some new games coming out still. And so Crap gets a hold of me and says, hey, do you want to just do a one-on-one? It seems like you really liked it. We'll do it on a Wednesday night. And it was it was supposed to be a one-time thing, just a post-show.
It's funny how people's careers kind of start like that. It's interesting, yeah.
So we're just doing one thing. Anyways, that becomes, so that one show, me and Crap do a 2-hour thing on the review of E3 becomes what we all know as Xbox Nation. And I mean, and everything just kind of built up, and it kind of ramped up into what we know today. Of course, Twitter plays a role. And to be honest with you, it's been great. It has been absolutely wonderful. The community's fantastic.
Gotcha.
And don't get me wrong. Like I said, you go back in the day, Cognito, when you go back to 2013, 2014, realistically, what was the console wars and the way people were kind of going at each other? It was like I said, it was like when we were talking about this offline, everybody. It was kind of like the old high school days, right? We give each other, you throw a jab come back, right? Sometimes you could dodge the jab. Sometimes you got hit in the face, right? But it was what it was. And then, it kind of evolved. And I want to even bring it to today and to say that what we are doing today is a great thing. Shout out to NLG's in the chat.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We've got Brap in the chat. You got Crap in the chat. Jay Fonz, Salt. The thing is these are all people that we all had our stories of how we got into it, why we wanted to get into it. We got the Lords, we got Mooch, we got everybody's here. The point of the matter is that now we can still have our healthy opinions. We can still have our healthy, like, you don't have to like what I like. But the point is that sometimes, and I'll be honest with you, like, I came around, right? I came around to a lot of different games that I didn't think I would like. Like, I did not like Dark Souls at all.
I thought it was brutal.
I'm still in that boat.
Shout out to Lord Addict. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I had to watch that man play. My son, there is a different generation watching people play games. I'm not into that. But my son watches him. He watches his stream, and he's like, can I watch him, Daddy? I said, yeah. So I'm eating, and I'm watching him watch him, and he said, look at him, Daddy. He's killing all the monsters with the big heads first. It was some weird room he was in, and he survived it. I said, man, I can't have my son idolizing this dude. I said, yo, let me get my behind over here and play some dogs. I said, yeah, Daddy can play it too. And after dying at that werewolf hand in the beginning, everybody has the same story. In Bloodborne, I said, you know what? Addict is a true beast. This game is not for me, but it's serious. Okay, so I feel you on that, but I'm not a Bloodborne or Dark Souls dude.
Mooch is preaching because
you felt your city.
The thing about Dark Souls, just to get back in the game in a bit, is here's the reason I like it. We sit here and we talk about those Ghosts and Goblin days. You talk about the day before, the up, down, down, left, right. Before that, when you only had the 3 lives to get through Contra. Okay, this is a game. I call this the game of games, Dark Souls, because let me tell you just how much it is. So people go, Mooch, what the hell are you talking about? If I want to play with my friend in a co-op session, you have to play the game to earn the ember to call your friend.
Yes.
This is what I'm trying to. You can't just hit 2 players start. Okay? You need to play the game to get the right to earn the fact to bring somebody in and help you through a fight. This is what I'm saying. When I saw that, that's when my eyes opened up again. I said, wait a minute. This game is something unlike anything else I have right now in my collection. It is in the community, in the Dark Souls community. And I'm not, listen, if you don't like the game, you don't like the game. That's fine.
Absolutely.
But what I want people to realize with this game is, it is, when you say it's a gamer's game, you have to play it to even bring a friend on board. That to me was when I said, wait a minute, this game's playing me right now. Right? This game is playing me. It's making me do something I didn't even think I had to do to get my friends involved. So that being said, that's what I'm saying about opening our eyes and moving forward, right? Preach. And you know me. Listen, I related Dark Souls to a Paul Abdul song.
Dude, I remember when you used to go at Destiny.
I went hard with it. I did.
You've come so full circle, and you just said it. It's like back in the day, high school. The way I equivalent a lot of this stuff is, it's like sports teams, right?
Yes.
A lot of us, you're like, yo, you Yankees, yo, you Mets, yo, or whatever team it was, and everybody just had that pride. And yes, sometimes it goes a little too far, but at the end of the day, sometimes I remember getting to the age where, King had to school me. Like I used to be a Michael Jordan hater. Don't
go there.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And then
whatever.
He was like, who's better than him? Like, realistically, right? And like he would just win, and eventually I had to get to that maturity, that age to say, you know what?
Right.
King, he's the best. Like there's no.
Yeah, like I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. I'm a Scottie Pippen fan, but I'm gonna tell you, I have to bow down, to the GOAT,
Exactly. And it's just that maturation process, and even from sports and for gaming, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's so cool. And I think, like, I'm so glad we did this, because a lot of people don't get a chance to see that evolution from a lot of our community and put people in boxes and stuff like that.
We're about pure gaming. I just I wanted to say this before, because you mentioned Zaire, and when Zaire was going through his problems or whatever, I reached out to him and expressed my concern for him. And also, this community, we all have the same mistress, and I know you heard this plenty of times. We all fell in love with the same thing, and it's gaming.
That's right.
So at the same essence of it is like, I don't care how you got to this point, but you got to this point, and it was a gateway point that we all had. Everybody had that same epiphany moment that I can't live without this. So at what point it became a divide? I don't care where you game at. I don't care if you game on your cell phone. You gaming, we are brothers, period. So for it to become a divide and become personal and attacks and trying to separate, no, I'm trying to unify. I want us all to be inside one room we're playing. I want us all to, Dealer's in this room, or Crap is in this room, or Mooch is in this room, and we're all in the same room talking about the same exact thing. Love of the same exact thing.
That's the common thread. At the end of the day, it's gaming which unites us. You know what I'm saying? And like, listen, we all have our own takes. We all got our own different opinions. We are not all gonna agree on everything. It's not a kumbaya situation, but we have to understand that, we game. We all love the same thing.
That's right.
Playing video games and getting away from the dramas of life. That's our escape. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But back to you, Lord Mooch.
Yeah.
You're going right from that point. And then you said, with the channel, like I said, you said the BGST, the Xbox, all that stuff. And then my question now is like, what was the birth of Crossfire? Like, very curious about it.
It was the motivation and the promotion from Zaire. Z kept on saying to me all the time, he's like, Mooch, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Will you please start a channel? So a lot of times you'll see, you see somebody, they have their born on date of when they started their channel. I've had the YouTube thing, but it sat there idle doing nothing. It was just, it did nothing. So then he's like, listen, you got people in the chat right now on BGST. You got these Mooch maniacs showing up, right? They're showing up outside the house. He's like, why don't you start a show? So finally I said, listen, okay, now look at the Lord, right? You like this one. The Lord only made 7 days.
That's right.
Right? Right, according to the scriptures we have. Okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, all right, Monday's gone, Tuesday's this guy, Wednesday's these folks, Thursday's, and I'm like, all right, so this Friday. And I said to myself, now wait a minute. I said, Friday used to be a night that when you're a younger cat, you're going out to the club, it's this and that, you're making yourself known. I said, maybe Friday's not going to work, but I said, you know what? That's not who I'm trying to reach right now. If you got your collar popped and you're going ahead, right, and you got your goose and your Patron, listen, if you're doing that, that's not the audience I'm going for right now. Listen, that collar pop's coming back, by the way. That's still coming back. But so I said, I know this gaming community looks forward to the end of the week to come home, get their favorite drink, get something to eat, and start gaming on Friday night. And there's nothing better than that. So I said, all right, listen, nobody's going for Friday. Let me see if I can make Friday work. So bam, there we go. And again, it was Zaire and Crap being like, you need to do this.
Nice.
You got to do this.
Yo, the chat going hard. Everybody
right?
say, yo, I got my collar popping off.
Yeah, right. I'm telling
they
you.
over here popping
You
collars,
you do that, Shooter McGavin, and do it right. You know what I'm saying? Pop that collar. But right. So it's good, man. So Friday has been a lot of fun. And I like so I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm a pioneer by no means, but my idea was a little bit different. So I'd done BGST, did Xbox Nation, and we had set folks that came on every single week. It was the same panel. I said, you know what? I said the way for me to express myself is I like a little debate. You know what I mean? Like when we get into the topics, we haven't even hit the topics yet. When we get into topics, there's going to be somebody on the panel that says, Mooch, I like where you're coming from, but let me tell you, one of my eldest slogans, let me tell you why you're wrong, okay? Because the situation is not all of us are going to think the same. So absolutely. I've always done Crossfire where I have what I call my usual suspects, which is my crew that we all have. And then I try to bring on 2 guests every week, different. And I think that that's important. And now that the community is doing what we're doing right now here on Iron Lord's podcast, and we're expanding everybody. This is what's good. Sav has been on there, Cognito. You guys know that when we get on, we have fun, and it's good. You don't have to come on and agree with me. As a matter of fact, I prefer
you're like me.
With
me and you are the same in that regards because I'm the same. I don't like a samey yes guy kind of podcast. Right. I like to debate. I like people to challenge me. I like people to say, you know what? I didn't see it from that perspective.
Thank
you. Know what I mean? And that's what creates that healthy debate. And when I got on Crossfire, I'll be honest, like it blew me away. It wasn't what I expected.
Right.
And that's why
this is not going to be everybody going in a circle being like, oh, no, I agree with you. That's right. That's right. No, it's not. Because if you agree with me, there's nothing to tune into.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could just make a public service announcement and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Crossfire will only be about 15 seconds this week. So, I mean, I want you guys to discuss and, like you say, open up your mind and let's talk about it. So that's where Crossfire came from. Nice. And then last but not least, I had a meeting with Crap, and I said, the one thing I really, really enjoy, and we were talking about this just before the show started, was I love morning radio. Okay, yes. Any of us that have gotten up, you take the bus to work, you go here, you put your headset on, right? That's right.
That's New York.
Right. So whether you
had your 66, all that, man.
All the time, man. That's what you listen to talk radio. So I said to Crap, I said, you know what I want to do? I want to do a morning show. I wanted to do the morning show. And I think we're ultimately going to go back to mornings eventually. But with the schedule, it was just tough. But I said, let's do something where we could take a little bit of like a creative, we could do a couple of skits where we poke fun at Xbox, we poke fun at Sony, we poke fun at the media, we poke fun of ourselves, right? We do the whole thing. And I said, let's do it with a little bit of a higher production value. And I said, let's give folks their Sunday morning, like just their gaming. Listen, I want to talk about gaming with a cup of coffee. It doesn't always have to be with a vodka straight up. Right? I mean, I want to sometimes just have a cup of coffee and listen to some gaming news. And that's what and that's why I love how we did have this great chemistry where we went right from M&C, right? And then sometimes Luca would do a 12 o'clock spot, and then you guys were going on at 1. So we got something, and like I said, I think M&C is going to come back to Sundays eventually. But realistically, that's what kind of drove that was my passion for morning radio. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and here we are today. That kind of brings us today. That's how it was born.
Dude, it's an amazing story, fantastic stories, and like I said, I think you guys don't get enough credit for what you do. I've been on the show; it's been fantastic. Also, shout out your team, man. You've got a nice panel. We've actually had like almost half your panel on ILP at this point.
Right? You got Xbox, Boom.
Shout out to Boom. That was a great find.
Yes,
that was a great signing. That's like a first.
You know what it was, man? It really was. It was almost like literally like an undrafted. You know what I mean? Like people always see these guys. Boom and reached out to me, and he goes, "Listen," he goes, look, he goes, a lot of people probably reach out to you, but I'd really like a chance at this. And so I said, all right, just same way we did. I said, let me see what the schedule, because I don't want to have someone new come on the show and be the 9th person, and you're new, you're going to get drowned out. So I said, listen, let's do this right. Let's get you on in about 3 weeks. He goes, good. That'll give me enough time to get the right, and we went back and forth. I showed him how people showed me a good microphone, good setup, hooked the man up. He did that. He came on and he killed it.
Nice.
So I said, you know what? Let's do it the same way Zaire. He said, I said, let's do this again in a couple of weeks. See if it's still your flavor. See if it's something you're digging. Comes back on in 2 weeks, nails it again. I said, you know what you need to do? You need to be on here pretty much all the damn time.
Nice.
And the man is passionate, dude. That's what he's writing me every day, guys. He's writing me every day. He's like, let me do this. And should I do that? He's sending me sound bites. Do you think the sound is right? And I'm like, this dude is legit. He's into it. His passion is there.
Bro.
That's what it is.
It resonates. You can completely see it. It is so cool, man. Like I said, shout out. And like I said, you got one more. I haven't had him on the show yet. Because it's Crab, Boom, Xpot. Who am I missing?
So you've got Alan Walsh.
Alan Walsh, yes.
Yep. And Clowns. You've had Clowns.
Of course the Clown. We had Clowns on. We had more than the Battle Lord.
Dude, Clowns is such a wholesome. He's a wholesome dude. He helps the community out. Like when I was setting up I did a stream. A lot of people don't know. I did a stream with the whole thing. One of my claim to fames early on back in the day was the whole Rocket League / soccer cars, right? Mm-hmm. So when soccer cars finally made its way to Xbox, I reached out on, I can't remember what show I was on. I think I believe it or not, I think I came into one of your chats when you had you had Phil on or Aaron on, and in the chat was Major Nelson. So I wrote to Major Nelson in the chat. I said something along the lines of, I said, hey, Major, why don't we stream soccer cars the week after it launches? He writes back right away, let's do it, Mooch. Wow. I said, holy shit, I'll be damned. So, right, let me tell you something, right? Hanging out with Larry, that's like, he's a tough dude to get a hold of. So I'm like, all right. So we ended up setting it up, and shout out to Clowns and shout out to Inferno. They got together, helped me out because we didn't have the streaming thing that we have now with Mixer, right? So I was trying to get all these people in chat to come through, which we couldn't ultimately do at the end. But I still had Inferno and Clowns working diligently to help me get Larry's voice through on the broadcast. So we still did the broadcast with Larry, but I was kind of doing I asked Larry the question, and after he would respond to me while we were playing the game, I would then tell the audience what he said as verbatim as I could while I'm playing a video game. So, right, we were talking about difficult and sweating to death.
So, shout out to Clown, shout out to Inferno,
shout out to the whole crew, man.
Yeah, man. 4 Guys with Quarters. They actually tick affiliates as well. We got a lot of tick affiliates in the building right now. NLG, BRAP, all that, man. Much appreciated, dude. This is like we could just talk for hours on this.
Oh, listen, I got news for you. I was looking to see all the Iron Lords podcasts, and I saw that you guys go to about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Today's going about 4 hours and 40 minutes.
Because Boss Moon said, "Oh, is this still the intro?"
Right?
Hey, DJ, listen, I'm not throwing those white gloves in the bushes. I'm going to tell you right now, all right? I love Larry. Larry's not going anywhere. I do understand that you guys get off on me and Addict going at each other. We don't really normally do that, all right? But sometimes we may clash, and it's going to happen. He's vocal, I'm vocal. That's going to happen. Let's cut the fraud talk out in there. I see the fraud talking. Let's cut that fraud talk out.
Let's Mooch up and get into the topic. So, Mooch, last thing. Obviously, most of us here in the panel, the Lord's table, are from New York. So we know the meaning of your name to mean one thing. So we just want to clarify.
Yes.
We know what Mooch means out here.
The science behind the name Mooch. Let's get that.
Yeah, man. Listen, it was all a college thing. Here's the thing. I've always felt, and I do this to this day. A mooch, you look it up, it's someone who, just kind of like leeches and takes shit, and borrows. But here's the way I looked at it. Back in the day, when we used to hang out, let's say I would go over to Cognito spot, right? I go over to Sav's spot at King. I said, listen, you guys are getting together, having a hangout. We're all we're 18 to 21. Let's say we're 21 for the conversation because we're talking about having some beers in the fridge. And you'd be like, Mooch, you didn't bring no beer. And I'm like, you got 12 of them in there. So listen, some people, right? So some people would actually grab a beer from you back in the day, right? And then they would walk off and go hang out or take some beer and go. Not this dude. I would hang with you all the time. People used to say it all the time. They're like, the thing about Mooch that's pretty cool? This dude came over, drank all my beer, but this son of a bitch stayed with me all day long. We hung out, we jammed out.
Oh, so you was a real mooch, like you was like you didn't just take a little piece and leave. You ate the whole pot.
I stayed for the whole.
I almost spit my juice out.
But I hung out with you. You know what I mean?
He said, "There's no shame in his mooch."
So let me get this straight, Mooch. You stayed for the beer at the beginning of the day. You got the dinner at the end. You got the lunch at the beginning.
I wasn't bad for us. I said, "What's for dinner?"
Cognito, he was a gooch mooch. He was a Debo mooch. Like he'll mooch and sit there with you and
chill with you the whole time.
Yes. But that's the difference. That's the difference.
He stayed with you though.
You got to. That's the point. If someone come up to you and says, "Hey, can I get that cigarette?" and you give him the cigarette and the dude just leaves, you're like, "That son of a bitch just took a cigarette." But if he sits there and has one with you, Now you have a conversation.
I gotta respect.
You gotta respect that. So
Mooch and chill,
right? Thank you. Yes, Mooch and chill. Yes,
I didn't.
yes.
Like you just opened up my eyes. There's correct ways to be a mooch and incorrect ways.
There is. Listen,
he's Gooch Mooch.
That's
Listen,
right.
You don't remember the Gooch back from
different strokes.
He'll debo you and sit there with your stuff.
I loved it, man. Listen, but here's the thing. It was all about bringing the entertainment, right? So even now, right, the big thing in the community is like, you mooch a game. But if I mooch a game, let me be real with you. I don't just go, thanks for the game. No. Shout out to Biggie2316. Biggie sent me Monster World, right?
That's what's up.
I didn't know who Biggie was. He heard me say I wanted to mooch that. Sends me the code, and I start, me and him play through the game 50, 60, 65 hours.
That's what's up.
And that's what it's all about. If you're going to mooch, okay, at least you hang with the person that gave you the gift. You don't take it.
He's giving you the credentials on how
this is how
properly.
I'm teaching you all a valuable lesson. Okay?
He said, listen, just don't dig your hand in a bag of potato chips and leave. Eat his chip, but you look him in the eye when you eating his chips and you let him know this is happening between me and you right here.
Let him know how good that bag of chips is.
Mooching kind of mooching is like, after I eat your stuff, I'm going to compliment you that your stuff was good, but I'm still
gonna those are some good chips that you purchased. Thank you for your chips, sir.
That's a respectable mooch. I'm dead, yo.
He got laws to mooching. He got steps to his mooching.
People I'm telling you, you got to revert back to the beer or the cigarette kind of example, right? The minute somebody takes a game or takes a cigarette, takes a sandwich from you and just leaves, you don't want nothing to do with that dude.
True that.
If the man sits there and hangs with you,
I got it. Yeah, just that goes to a fraud alert. Shout out to Cole. Cole, you a fraud. I gifted you what was that? PUBG, and you haven't been on. It's nothing worse than gifting somebody a game and they don't play it. You fraud.
This is hilarious. So we're gonna finish you off with the last segment, which is what we ask every guest.
Yeah.
Top 5 games or franchises of all time.
Man, that is difficult. It is difficult.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's make this. Let's get because we got a lot. We got
show to do.
We got a lot to do. Real quick, I'm gonna say, and these are just because I didn't know you were gonna ask that, but I'm gonna throw this a little bit. I'm gonna throw a little vintage and a little new in there.
Okay, let's go.
Vintage. So I'm gonna go with The Legend of Zelda.
Everybody's got Zelda.
Listen,
crazy.
That's like when you ask people in film, you're going to hear The Godfather come out of something.
Yeah, true that,
right? Some of them throwing Casablanca out at you just because it's classic. But realistically, right? So Legend of Zelda, you got to pay respect where respect is due. That was a game that opened a lot of people's eyes. So there's one, okay? So let's put that out there. Let's put this out there. Castlevania. All of them. Because realistically, that was the platforming game that set me straight, that I was like, and I still think, if I was ever in the booth and I was able to make a decision, when you talk all these people that I didn't particularly care for Rise, the game that came out this generation. I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I think it just needed a little bit more. But if you take Rise and put some of the Castlevania-esque, right? Give that man a whip with a chain and a ball at the end of it, right? Give this, that's the kind of game that really got me enthralled back as a kid. I love those types of games. That was how I got into the platform and the whole nine. Love the Simon Belmont, the whole Dracula thing, right? Like, listen,
of course.
That's where the true zombie, esque came
curiosity, Mooch, did you play Curse of Darkness?
I did not. So shame on me. But
number 3.
So all of the Castlevanias from Curse of Darkness.
I have not played Curse of Darkness. I haven't played a lot of the ones, right?
Why he's always going to convert somebody to this stupid game? It sucks.
Listen, see where you guys see that. You know what I'm doing? My arm hair just went up. My mooch senses. I'm sensing Addict sending me a code in a few minutes. But listen,
that's what you said.
Hold up. Right?
He said
if you really want him to experience
right? If you really want me to know,
allow him.
Send me those 25 digits.
Do his name set.
Yes.
Let's get this mooch.
Okay, we got to get this thing going.
All right, we got to get it going.
Right, and then realistically, I would say the Gears franchise.
Of course.
Okay. And then I've got to give credit where credit's due while I'm saying it. And I'm leaving some great titles out, so please don't judge me. Dark Souls, because that's changed the way that I look at the way games are played. And I will say this much. From the beginning, okay, from the very beginning, all the way up through the GameCube, okay, back on the PlayStation, and where we are today, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Resident Evil still holds a very, very warm spot in my heart. And I'm talking way back, okay?
You
going
can now
back to the
back
beginning.
to your own podcast because Boom is accepting now.
Yes, Boom. Listen, and that's what's so great, too. You want to talk about that link? That's something that me and him just linked up immediately.
Right now.
Because, listen, everybody else is down on it. Days Gone. Listen, that game could suck. I can't wait for it. I'm excited as hell. You put zombies in a game, it's gonna be there. All right. But there we go. At least there's my 5. I'm gonna do that. But
off top, man, that was impressive. I'm just
spitting that out.
No doubt, man. Let's get into it because we got a lot to go. A lot of topics. Let's get into it. So, last week's poll results are in. The people have spoken. With the plethora of consumer-friendly services that Xbox Live provides, do you think Xbox Live should adopt a tier-level pricing model? The winner at 58% in a fairly convincing 3-way ILP poll is the yes. We want Game Pass incorporated into the Xbox Live subscription group. Coming in at second place at 23% was the no, not unless online multiplayer is free at the base level group. And at third place with a close 9% of the vote was I don't care until I see these more exclusive games group. Thanks to all the Lords who participated in the poll. Lord Mooch, what do you think about combining or incorporating that subscription? That's what the fans seem to want.
Yeah, I'm also in that camp. I think that it should. But I liked how you put the question earlier, and I didn't see the poll, so pardon me. But realistically, I think that there should be tiers. Because there's certain people that, let's get to the tiers before we talk about the combining of the two. Yeah. The tiers is good for the different, listen, since I like to joke around with this. We are in the generation of options, folks. Okay. Yes. That's what we're doing here. If you want to drive with the windows down and the air conditioning on, that's what we're doing. We would have got slapped silly in the 80s. But right now, okay. But right now, people are doing that, and that's fine. So if you want to let people make a decision on their tiers and say, I just want to play online with my friends, but I don't need these games with gold. Okay, take me out of there. Let me just play, and maybe that's either going to be one. It'll never be on the house, but it'll be like a $20 deal, right? And then it'll be, or maybe a $25 deal, then $50 for the whole thing. I think that you should give those options. Since Microsoft's giving people those, because a lot of people, and me included, I know a lot of people just go on every first of the month and they go pick up this right. They go download them and then they hit cancel and let them go into their library. Listen, man, I'm at a point right now where the backlog is real.
Because you see how he mentioned that finesse? Like he knew the finesse.
He's the king of the finesse. Like he's telling you, yo, I'm gonna slide in on the 1st and the 15th.
You already know. But you ain't playing all those games.
A lot of people do.
Nobody wants to play Super Meat Boy when you got this kind of lineup coming up, but they gave it away, so you take it. Right? You want an extra scoop of potato salad. Of course I want an extra scoop of potato salad. Like that.
Meat Boy.
It's nice to see your backlog just grow and grow. I just like looking at that whole big stack of games that I'm probably never going to play.
Says Super Meat Boy.
Right? I mean, these are the games they're giving us sometimes. They're giving us these ridiculous, like you take it because it's there. But realistically, there's a lot of people that if you said instead of $60 a year, what if I charged you $30 and you don't have to deal with playing with Mickey Mouse Adventures next month? You're okay with that, right? You can deal with it. So I do think that's fine. But realistically, and I wanted to say, I'm going to save my idea, my thought of what Microsoft is doing. I did mention it on Crossfire, but I want to wait till we get to Xbox All Access.
Absolutely.
But it wouldn't hurt them to have another option where they take Game Pass and they take Live, which really do go hand in hand, and combine them for a little bit of a lower price, give the customer a break.
I think that's inevitable. It's coming.
It's got to.
Whatchamacallit is Next Level Gaming. All right, what's inside here is cucumber, ginger, lemon. All right, and that's that alkalines the water and it purifies your body, cleans out your kidneys and all that other stuff.
Some Hennessy.
No, actually, no. Y'all know if it was Hennessy, it'd be crazy dark, bro. and I would not be curse free. So you understand. If y'all ever play with me on Xbox, you understand I'm curse laden. But over here, my kids watch the show. It would not be any curse.
For the little lords, we appreciate you.
That's right.
With the language, thank you so much.
Let's get it. Let's get to these. Let's get to the topic because it is 2:21.
Yeah, we rocking. Lord Sov, what is going on in the world with this Xbox Live? What is going on?
What's going on is that over the past week during Gamescom, Windows Central speculated, and everybody else pretty much did the same, that Microsoft was on the verge of announcing a new service called Xbox All Access, which was going to allow you to subsidize the purchase of an Xbox One S or X system while combining the Game Pass service as well as Xbox Live into one monthly payment. Much like they did at the end of the 360 era, where they subsidized, I forgot which 360 it was, probably the smallest, cheapest.
Yeah, towards the end of the era.
Towards the end of the era, in order to give you Xbox Live. Basically, Trojan horse the whole thing, Xbox Live into your house. And I think this, it still hasn't been confirmed by Microsoft, but enough info is out there that it seems like it is a real thing. They just probably weren't ready to announce it at Gamescom.
And as far as we know, not to cut you, as far as we know, it's the U.S. market only at this point is what the rumor is suggesting, correct?
At this point, the rumor is suggesting it's only U.S. market to start off with. I mean, I guess we are their test market, so they're going to see how it goes here before they move it elsewhere. But yeah, like Mooch was saying, this is another option that they're giving people as a way to onboard into the Xbox ecosystem. And for them, I think it is another way to Trojan horse Game Pass into everything, because for them, I think Game Pass is everything going forward. Everything's going to be folded into. If we look at other things that they announced during Gamescom, they released the Game Pass app, which on the surface doesn't seem like much. But if you think about it, why would you release a Game Pass app when you have Game Pass integrated into the Xbox app already? It's because Game Pass is going to be the star eventually. So this is just a way of getting people into the ecosystem without, doing it painfully upfront, buying a $500 or $200 system.
And what's the point of entry as far as because they have two, like the S and the X, right? What's the monthly payments looking like?
So the S subscription is looking like they're talking about $22 a month, which would make that about a $6 or $7 a month investment towards the actual console itself. You figure Live over the course of the 2 years is about $120, and Game Pass over the course of a year is $120. So it breaks down to about $10 a month for $10 a month for Game Pass for the year, and then $5 a month for Live for the year, in addition to whatever you're paying, the $7 or whatever you're paying for the console. Same thing. So, and then for the X option, it's going to be about $35 a month. So that's, again, $20 above the $10 and $5 breakdown for the Xbox, for Game Pass and whatnot for the X. At the end of the 2 years, the way they're talking about it is at the end of the 2 years, the system is yours, and you can choose to cancel or the subscriptions or not if you want. So if you break down the numbers, the math, you stand to save a little bit, a couple of bucks over the course of the 2 year contract. Again, it's an option for people who don't have the resources to pay for all this stuff up front and want to maybe just test out the ecosystem. I'm sure they're going to have to implement some sort of way for people to get out of it if they don't want to continue in it or whatnot. It is what it is. I think it's a great option. I think, again, if there's talk about difficulty getting Xbox consoles into homes, this is another way to get that. And again, what they really want is for you to be invested in Game Pass in some way, shape, or form, whatever platform you're on. So I think it's great. All
right, so here we are, this Xbox Live All Access thing going on. So Lord Mooch, I know you was holding on to some thoughts about this, so let's get you right into the mix. What did you think about this announcement? This rumor hasn't been officially unveiled by Xbox, but the sources are pretty strong. Shout out to Jez Corden from Windows Central, friend of the show, and also I want to shout out Tom Warren, who also was the one, I believe, who tweeted it before that something like this rumors was coming down the pipe. So Lord Mooch, Xbox All Access, where are you at with this?
So Xbox All Access is for me. For me, it's not for me because I'm already there, right? We've already got the X in hand. We're playing, we're enjoying right now. But this is a great thing. And where I want to add the value is not what we're reading on the top layer. You got to kind of peel it back a little bit and look a little deeper to what Microsoft is thinking. And me and Xbot 448, we were kind of talking about this on Crossfire, where you can have something that's consumer friendly and something that's good for the business too. You know what I mean? And that's what Microsoft's trying to do here. They're really trying to balance the scales. So hear me out. Game Pass, okay, as it currently stands, and I understand it's getting good press right now.
Yeah.
But Game Pass needs to do a few things right now to make it what we think it can be. And that is day and date third-party games. Now, everyone says that, but they don't explain it to you. Okay, I realize we're not going to get GTA 6 in there. I understand that. That ain't coming, okay? They don't need that money. They got their own money. Good. But when you have games like Metro Exodus, okay, or you have games that came out like The Evil Within 2, which 3.5 weeks after it came out dropped half price, okay? These are games that Microsoft needs to be able to go to the table with a bargaining chip and say, we need to have your game in Game Pass day and date. Now, let me explain. That doesn't hurt the PlayStation consumer. It doesn't hurt the PC consumer. And it does not hurt the consumer that is not in Game Pass. It's an Xbox fan. It's an option for people that are already paying a $10 a month subscription to feel like they have something, okay, worthy of keeping that subscription. Now, you might say, well, how are they going to do it? The only way Microsoft can do it is by showing these third-party companies and publishers, okay, that they have the butts in the seats, okay? Now, how do you do that? Here's how you do it. You shove Game Pass down our throat in a very consumer-friendly way. And Xbox All Access, if this does end up being true and come to fruition, with the $22 or $35 a month option, depending on if you want the S or the X, is going to come to your home for $35 plus shipping and handling to your home with Game Pass. Now, the minute you hit accept and you download that, you're now a tally from Microsoft. And that is where you're going to see that Game Pass right now is gaining some ground, but it's not substantial enough. It is not substantial enough to go to the bargaining table and talk to Bethesda and say, when you come out with your new game, it's got to be in Game Pass. They're going to go, the hell I do. But once you take all these people that are now going to go a la carte and do it this way, and don't say it's not going to work. Of course it's going to work. Because anybody on Christmas right now, if this does come true, you're telling me that a parent for $35, okay, can have their kid wake up Christmas morning and have an X under the tree, 100+ games with some great third-party support right now, and Xbox Live to play with their friends the minute they open that box. Yes. That is very consumer friendly. It's gonna be like a tidal wave this Christmas. And number two, Microsoft now has millions of more people that they can show these publishers that they have people, they have butts in the seats. That is how you can get an futuristic Evil Within 3, okay, or maybe a Metro Exodus. That game's gonna be gorgeous, but guess what? It's not gonna do great. It's coming out right in between Anthem and all these other great games that are coming out. Like, realistically, Metro would do great in Game Pass. But right now, the Metro folks, if this Lord's panel right now, we were actually the publishers, we'd be like, we're not doing that. No, I want to make the $60 per sale at Target, Walmart, everywhere. But if I know that Microsoft's going to give me a cut every time somebody hits that download button, now you're talking when you show me that 10 million people have Game Pass. Now my ears are open because there's a percentage of people that are going to just download it for no other reason, just to say that I can because I paid for Game Pass. And my friend, is the chip.
I'm in the camp of throw it in the bushes. And I'm going to explain why I'm in the camp of throw it in the bushes. All access? No. I'm not anti. I'm going to tell you why. All right, because my timeline went ridiculous yesterday. It went ridiculous. You would have thought that Microsoft took a baby and threw it off the roof. And I've never seen so many Sony fans in terrible fear in my whole life. I mean, I'm talking about terrible fear of the fact that they're at the precipice of doing something phenomenal. The reason why I say at this point it's not going to be as viable. Let me explain why it's not going to be as viable as some may say. I want it for the next generation going forward. Don't push these systems here.
Selfishly, I want that for Scarlet. I ain't gonna lie.
No, I feel you.
Day one on that all access if it's Scarlet.
Exactly, but these systems is coming. Now, if you can Trojan horse the Scarlet, let's say, and not the hard base system, the Trojan horse system, the system that you can pack the cloud streaming system, where you can get all that stuff because you're not going to sell a system at a loss, right? you want to actually make some form of profit. These numbers that people are throwing around, I absolutely see no profit margin being made for Microsoft off the system at all. You want to at least, you know, when you sell, we buy cell phones, and if we purchase the cell phone flat out, we're good. But if we do these little plans, you don't notice that you're actually paying a little bit more on your
interest.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The interest is stretching
when I
out.
upgrade my Galaxy to the 9, from the 8 to the 9.
Exactly.
I do that
There
all the
you
time.
go.
You pay more long term. So you're right. Microsoft is not necessarily profiting off of this. It's not a big.
That's why I'm throwing it in bushes, because y'all keep playing with these numbers like somebody sat in the boardroom and was like, yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. No, that's not exactly what they're going to do. When I can see them making a profit off of the hardware, because they don't make hardware for free, and they're not trying to give it to you for free. They want to make a little something off it, because we're giving it to you ahead of time, bro. So listen, if I give anybody something ahead of time, I want 10 cents on the dollar. That's how I'm going to make my money. But they want to make some form of profit. So don't look at this. I see $49.99 for the X, something like that. I can see that. I can see that $35 for the S. I can see that. But that $22 that everybody, I'm throwing $22 in the bushes, and I'm throwing $22 in the bushes hardcore. So don't look for that. Yo, get that out of your head. That's $22 is not realistic at all. $22 might be for the Scarlet.
Well, wait, hold on. Well, we got an OG in the chat real quick. I gotta say, he's making a good point. He wants to talk to King. He said hardware doesn't make a company money. He was like, that has been how things worked in the past. He said they make it up with the software and the services. So their whole thing is, his whole point is towards like engagement and just the fact that more people.
I know who did that for you, Phil. Once the engagement numbers. I know he wants Game Pass and Xbox Live in your house. I know he wants Xbox Live on your phone, on your tablet. I know he wants Game Pass on your phone, on your tablet. He doesn't care where you game. He just wants you to game on his platform.
Listen though, King, King, I want to mention the King though. One thing also, shout out to what is it, Next Level Gaming there.
Yeah,
he's right. He's 100% right with the software. But let me just make some dollars and cents for you with the hardware too, with the 22 and the 35. Here's the thing: the minute you use a car for example. You buy a $50,000 car, the minute you sign your name, right, and we start paying those monthly payments, the minute those tires roll off the lot, that car is $25,000. But you're still paying on it like it's $50,000. Now, hear me out.
Yeah.
Let's get to what we're talking about with the hardware. Every single day that goes by, they're getting these components cheaper and cheaper. These numbers on the let's just use the Xbox One, the 35 or the X, $35. When you map that out, it basically comes to the cost of the X, right? Legit. So hear me out. Legitimately, over the course of 2 years, they are making money on you on the hardware because they are making this thing cheaper as the day goes on, but you're still paying for it like it's a $500 console. So they are still making money. This is the thing that people got to realize. So a lot of people that were anti this, like you said, that were kind of giving shade yesterday. Those folks that were doing that, right, well, yeah, you saw it. Right. Those folks that were doing that, they were saying, wait a second, they were saying that that's a negative. What I'm saying is those people that were throwing the shade were actually correct. Microsoft is making that money because let's be honest, no matter who is smiling at you when you do business, when you hand them over that $20, they're making some money on you. So they're going to make money on this, and that's where it holds water. First of all, what the original LG is saying is 100% right. You know, shout out. He's 100% right. They want you, right? Sting wants you. He's right. You want to make the money off of the software. But realistically, they are making money off the hardware because as that value continues to diminish, they're still charging you top price. So ultimately, it's a win for the consumer because it becomes a monthly, forget about it, $35 that we all pay $35 for something. Listen, if you have HBO Go and Hulu, bam. You're already at an Xbox One S, right? So boom, you're already there. So what I'm saying to you is like people that I said this years ago with the a la carte nonsense. People like cut the cord. I'm like, don't cut mine. Okay, keep my cord intact, and if you cut it, I'll splice it. Okay, I love my cord. My point is this. So, like, the matter of fact is, I think everybody in this panel in the hardcore, whether they're in favor of it or not, the hardcore gamer is not really going to buy into this.
Right. This is really not for us,
but it's for the mass public. Right. It's the mass public.
That's for them casuals, baby.
So
get them casual
I want to get Addict insolvent because definitely Addict. I'm very curious about this for him. You know, what do you? What do you feel about this announcement?
I think that, they are looking at the software. I think that they plan on making money from that. Last time I checked, the original Xbox, Mooch, if I remember correctly, they make like $35 every unit.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So even if they, because if you do the math, they're losing $20 for 2 years of all this services. They're still making. I don't know about the X. I assume that it would be around the same. I don't think $20, even if you take off what they make off the X, the S, or even the original Xbox, which they're not going to do the original Xbox, but those two. I don't think they're making any money. I don't think they're losing money. They might not be gaining as much money from the console, but I think what they're really looking at is like, okay, we'll give them a $20 discount for 2 years. We'll get a customer that is locked down that he has to have these services
into the ecosystem. Let's be real here. That's a big deal. Yeah.
Someone buys a console, you might get them for one service. You might. Xbox Live or Game Pass, you might get one of them. Sometimes you'll get two, depending if they enjoyed the trial. But when you get these people locked in for 2 years for all three, they're paying pretty much all three of these services, and you're just taking a $20 difference, and you're making more money in the long run because you're getting these people to consistently stay on these. And after I used to do Dish, people don't like change. After that ends up, they'll pay the extra money for Gold and Game Pass just to keep what they're used to for the last 2 years.
That's right.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Sav, I want you to jump in because I got a lot to say. So what you got, man, with this whole thing?
I just think, again, it's another option, like Mooch said, and I completely agree. Like over the course of that 2 years, they're going to be making money off of you. Anybody who ever there was a lot of arguments going, like King was saying, like people pissed off that what happens is it's drawing people into these long contracts that they're not going to be able to afford.
That's what people are saying. This is not financially responsible.
When in the history. Never in the history of ever have you paid for something over the course of a long period of time and paid less for it. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, like when the price dropped, what my payments changed? What the hell is wrong with you? Like, what really the hell is wrong with you?
A payment plan is punishment for not having the money up front. That's what it is. That's all it is.
But let's get to the fun though. So what happens if you don't make a payment?
The police, they bang your credit. They gonna bang your, okay, first of all, let's and I want Sovereign to chime in on this one point right here, because this is not for you guys that's out here with bad credit that think you're gonna finesse something. You're not mooching nothing. I'm not saying Mooch got bad credit. I'm not saying Mooch got bad credit. I'm saying, I said don't listen to Mooch thinking you gonna finesse this one.
No,
this is not gonna happen if you got bad credit.
You can't, Mooch. You can Larry will show up and slap you with those white gloves.
Exactly.
Nope.
So what's gonna happen is you need good credit going in. All right. This is not for that student who has the 540 credit score who think he's gonna go in and slide that card and make it happen.
Your console gonna get told I'm dead.
They're gonna put
gonna get a boot on it.
Put a boot on your controller. Yo, you're gonna go and pick up your controller. It's gonna have a boot on the analog.
But like realistically, we would assume that Microsoft has to have precautions in place. Like there has to be something on the account level and on the hardware level to prevent you from, if you try to finesse and get out of that. You know what I'm saying? Get out there.
This is what's going to happen. They're going to send you a nice, cordial email saying that they have not received your payment for that month yet. If payment does not come through, you're going to see your services stopped, and you're going to get a bill in the mail for the entire rest of what you owe on that console.
Right. Now, I'm going to
pay that down.
I want to play devil's advocate something. This is what I'm saying. People are saying, this is some of the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter. Predatory. Like, this is predatory.
Listen,
that Microsoft is putting young kids in a bad situation. I've
heard there's no young kid that has a credit card.
I don't see my son purchasing an Xbox.
I've heard the argument that this puts poor people in a position where they think they can afford this and they can't. Listen, if you're poor, and by the definition of poor meaning there are certain basic necessities that you have a problem getting in this life, then the least of your problems is how you're gonna get an Xbox One X. Like you need to worry, you need to worry about a roof over your head and food in your mouth. Like
Yes.
the least of your problem is, oh, how am I gonna play this Gears of War 5? Like, how am I gonna do that? Like, stupid argument. Like, it really is a ridiculous argument. It is a ridiculous argument, and like anything else, if you have, you know, whatever, like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that get access to a credit card, your first credit card, whatnot. This is stuff that parents still need to be monitoring. When I got my first credit card, I thought it was slick. I got my first credit card and I went right to KB Toy Stores and I bought a PlayStation with like an extra controller. That was my first PlayStation. I got everything. And my dad was like, "Oh, how's that PlayStation?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You know, I got the letter saying that you got the credit card." You're not fooling anybody. Like these things need to be monitored by parents. And if you're not doing that, like there's a problem with you. Like
absolutely. Yo, let me jump in real quick. This is a good one, man. I've had so much fun watching, the whole thing. I mean, this thing, let's be real. Like, I want to shout out a Lord Dan McCullough. We had an Xbox Live on last week, and he kind of gave us some foreshadowing that either some pricing or some change. So shout out to him, man. It's excellent. Please watch that LP if you missed it. And the whole thing is, I think this was right on time. It's a great and super consumer friendly move. We can't ignore that, right? As far as this point, we have to say Microsoft is just dominating as far as services, and it's all about engagement for them. They want people on Xbox Live, like Lord Mooch was saying. They want butts in the seat. They want to show these devs, look, this is where the gamers are. They're here. They're playing that. And again, it's more chance for spending. So my only question is obviously the availability, though, because at the end of the day, the rumor is out right now. But from what I hear, I want to shout out some good friends. James Gordon, we shouted you out. Xbox 2 Random, my dudes. From what I hear, this is Microsoft Store only. Now, if it remains that, I have a problem.
Me too.
At the end of the day, look at the amount of stores in the United States. It's not that they haven't penetrated the market. Now, unless they offer it online, or the other magic word, which I don't know if it's going to happen, is retail. But the problem I see with that is, what does GameStop and, Target have to benefit from offering this service? Like, they're not getting a cut, right? So to me, they've got to.
I think the reason they did it last time, with the reason they would do it this time, is a lot of people will go in here. It will probably go depending on what kind of credit you have. If you have any kind of down payment or anything like that. And a lot of people are probably going to pick up a game alongside with this. They're just not going to pick up the console.
There's a possibility they would have to work out some type of arrangement for guys like GameStop, Best Buy, Target to say, "Hey, I'm going to do this." What's up, kid? Because you laughing?
No, I'm laughing because what I was seeing yesterday is people was acting like, "Well, you can only stream games." I'm like, dummy, it has a disc tray in the front. You can still buy games and put it in. Right? You do know that this physical disc that you can put inside your box, right? So the fact is that they're gonna purchase games. This is just extra. This is option. This is not for a person that only has $35 left in his budget a month and is going to try to make this happen. This ain't a make it happen situation.
Ain't a make it happen. Listen, I
gotta make it happen.
And again, like I said, I just want to reiterate, in order for this thing, look, I'm excited. I think it's great. You know what I'm saying? I think it's another option. I'm just thinking about myself, like, all of us make pretty decent money. So at the end of the day, like I can buy a Galaxy phone if I want outright, but sometimes you don't want that upfront cost, right? You just want to say, you know what? I don't need to put down $809, and these phones are like $890. Right?
I want to say this though. I want to say this. I already see. This is how my brain works. I already got the finesse. And this is sad, but what my fear is, somebody's getting somebody's credit card and they ordering Xboxes with this service, and they on eBay, and you selling these bricked up Xboxes.
Be able to do that.
All right, so I know Microsoft is working on ways to don't allow that to happen. Because
do go by the serial number.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Do you remember that thing with the PlayStation 2 and you was able to get it from Blockbuster?
Yeah, I remember. Listen, I remember one thing we got to give credit on Microsoft, and like I said, again, shout out to Lord McCullough that we had, as far as security protocols and the things that they do as far as that, they're pretty strong. wrong. We haven't had any type of breaches, kind of like, you know, was it the PS3 era where it was like the source code was like at the front of the door and people were just able to get in and break loose. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we have to give Microsoft that. All I'm saying is, you know, I just want to see if they can get it out to more things outside of the Microsoft Store.
And plus,
and the other thing I want to see is how it's enforced, right? Because we got to see what happens if you don't pay, and that, you know, if it's the credit aspect.
What's going to happen is, first off, though, I guarantee you they're going to require some kind of credit card up front to put on the file. They'll run that credit card, but you can always, you know, cancel the credit card.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, they'll send you an email or a bill saying how much you have left. And if you don't pay it, they'll hit your credit. That's literally all they can do. That's literally all they can do.
And also, what if we have options? Will be cool too. Let's just say, do you think they'll offer? I'm gonna ask this to Lord Mooch. Do you think they will offer a situation? Let's say you're paying your $35 a month, you're getting your X, right? Do you think there'll be a situation where, let's say it's tax time, you come across some bread, right? So now, do you think you can just pay it off like a credit card bill and get them out of your life?
There's no interest on it. Isn't there no interest?
There's no interest, right?
So right now, there's no interest. I think when it's actually announced, there's going to be interest. Like,
because at the end of the 2 years, it ends up being pretty much a wash anyways. You can go ahead, if you come in some extra, like you're saying, come in extra bread, you can just go ahead and pay it out.
Yeah.
Right?
But the question is, do you think they'll offer that, or do they may want to lock you in for the 2 years?
Contract. You just have to pay your contract up.
Yeah, you just pay you can pay the contract in full if you want.
You won't get no discount or anything like that.
No. Here's the thing, and I don't want to, you know, segue into your next subject, you know, Cognito, but realistically, we got to talk about it since it does pertain to all access. Because what King is actually laughing about, which he's right to, is all the nonsense that he's reading right now about the ridiculous, right? But this is
right? I listen to y'all and I'm reading the chat at the same time. And Jay Fonzarelli got me over here dead.
He does. Fire. Fonz is on fire.
He is on fire right now. But like, you know, I think Xbox missed a golden opportunity by not talking about this while they had the entire stage to themselves at Gamescom.
No,
why would you bring this up? Because you got all of us, right? Look at what we're doing right now. Just the 5 of us alone, we've come up with 6 different scenarios. The chat's going off on a tangent. Internet's going wild. People are like, is it going to have a disc tray? Of course it's going to have a disc tray. Right? What are we talking about?
Remove the disc tray from the
They're going to take that away from you.
Right?
Yo, the disc tray won't be on that streaming system, though.
It won't be. And I think that's the most exciting part about this is if this is successful, do they push it day and date with the new consoles coming out?
If I were a betting man, I would say there's a good chance that it's on the next consoles.
But here's the thing, with Tamuch's point, I hear what you say. It would have been the most perfect bomb, right?
Yes.
But the only issue is, from my understanding, because it's US only, they didn't want to announce it there.
All right.
And then another.
But you know, in Germany, they subsidize systems in Germany at this point right now, right?
But I think at this point, they're just not ready for that market, and they want to debut it here, where they have the Microsoft stores, they have the footprint. And from what I'm understanding, it kind of got out when they weren't ready.
It's not like if they did it during an Inside Xbox show, like people would start throwing tomatoes at, like, you know, AC bongos.
The Germans might be upset.
They might, you know, like, listen, and maybe
low key that's disrespectful. If you have that conference in another country and you start talking about features only in the other country,
yo, we got this new feature that won't
be like,
come
okay,
to
you got stuff for them. What you got for us?
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know
here's the white gloves.
I think realistically, when you have that much media attention, and you've got so many people watching, because there's nothing from Gamescom until possibly what? E3? Nothing. Yeah. Why now? Here's what's going to end up happening. So they're going to miss that stage event, right? They had a lot. And I'm not talking about there is PAX West. They could probably do it. That's true. But realistically, you miss that big stage, and you're going to have a bunch of people. There's going to be a bunch of people just taking this information and running with it and saying, like, not factual propaganda.
But isn't that the best part of how this internet and this the Twitter and all this stuff is working? We're doing the legwork for them.
Absolutely.
They're testing the water and they're seeing the temperature of the room. They really want to see if Sony dudes is real. These Sony dudes' heads are exploding right now because PlayStation is not going to offer this. You if you don't have your $500, $400 up front, you are not getting one.
Right.
But if Microsoft just told you walk in the store with your social security card and $35 and you walking out with the service in the package, how many people is going to be on Xbox? How does it switch the narrative from I don't have $5 right now because I actually got to buy milk and diapers for my kids, but I do got this $35 though.
We got that 35 on deck.
And 35 for 150 games? Come on, man. Who's there?
Shout out to Lord October the chat, man. Editor. He basically saying like, look, Xbox absolutely need to have another event around the holidays.
Yeah,
and maybe a reveal, a couple of things at the Game Awards. So that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Could going on. Anybody saw? You got anything on your topic before we move?
I mean,
we got a lot to get two more to get.
Like real quick, something that Mooch mentioned. There was speculation before Gamescom that actually Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Metro would be day and date on Game Pass. It wasn't completely debunked, but much like the announcement of this, much like the announcement of the Elite Controller 2 that sort of got pushed back, this is still a possibility. It was a rumor, so nobody said it's absolutely not happening. So they might be a little too close for Tomb Raider. I know a lot of people already pre-ordered Tomb Raider. It would suck if it's then in Game Pass. But Metro is still a possibility. Yeah, true.
Microsoft's gonna be like, we're not doing refunds on that one particular game.
So they might have already had those conversations that could be in the works. And secondly, my overall point to this, I think this is just all a Trojan horse for Game Pass. Even live, I think at some point live gets completely folded into Game Pass.
And Sal, what's our favorite word?
Engagement, baby. And they want you engaged with Game Pass. That's what they want.
I want to say something. Like, people are going in on this. Like, you know, I've seen, this is the craziest thing that Microsoft's ever done that I've seen get this much attention over nothing. It's like, look, like at the end of the day, people like, oh, you know, there's not a market for this. People are they're acting like this hasn't been done for like 15 years. There's Renaissance, there's Figurehead.
They're acting like they didn't do it last gen.
They did it last gen. Like, and plus, like, you know, you go through something like those other ones, you're probably paying like $60-$70 for
more on top because the numbers
because what you're doing, you're paying like $40, and you're paying like $30 in interest every month.
We're all forgetting this is strictly an option. Listen, if we're all out, right? We're all out at the game. We're all out at the game. We all pull out. You pull out your Samsung. You pull out your iPhone. I don't care. Nor need to know if you're paying that $45 a month for that phone, or if you plunk down $900. That's all I'm looking at is I'm like, yo, nice phone. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, like, realistically, it's an option. It shouldn't affect anybody at all. I mean, that doesn't. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't.
And you know, like, I just want to point out, it's not like even like someone like, you know, if I anticipate it, I could save up money between now and the next gen console comes out, and I could still get a day one. But if you look at it for this standpoint, as long right now we have no thoughts of interest because that hasn't been linked. If there's any interest,
right? For right now, from what we know, no, but it's not
still beneficial to you to do this, even if you can pay it all up front, because you're not even you're saving money anyway. As long as you want all three of those services, the Xbox, the Game Pass, and Xbox Live, which almost everyone here has Xbox Live at least. Yeah. Like, you're saving $20, so you're technically saving money by paying off. I don't think I've ever seen that, and I agree with King. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be some type of interest on it, but
it better be. I mean, listen. I love Microsoft and all that, bruh. If I'm in that boardroom and you telling me we gonna lose $20,
you got corporate King on us quick,
bruh. I'm so sorry. I'm friendly, but bruh.
At the end of the day, I think that their number one thought process right now is we might take, even if they take a hit, which I don't even think they will, they might not make as much money off the consoles as they normally would,
right?
But they're still making profit. As long as they're not making a negative, I don't think they care, because they're going to take a little cut off their consoles, but they're going to broaden the horizon when it comes to Game Pass. You're going to have millions of people probably that's on Game Pass that wouldn't have been on Game Pass. They're going to be tweeting it. Like, I think that's their bigger picture. They're not caring about the little $20 they lose. They're wanting the overall perception that everyone has
the long game. The long game.
I just want to say this last thing on this topic.
Come on, we're beating it.
I love the fact that they're losing.
Oh, because you get all the consumer-friendly stuff.
Brother, you don't do this from a position of winning. You do the eye gouging, the groin punching, the air pulling, the air biting from a position of losing.
Yep.
Microsoft, well, not losing, but second place, because they're still doing.
If you ain't first place, you losing. All right, there's no such thing. You know, if you're not first place, you're the first loser. All right, and I want you to understand, if they're not willing to get dirty, that's not a company I'm willing to stand behind. I want you to pull hair. I want you to punch people in the throats. I want you to get in there and win. And these dudes is going for the jugular. If they telling you we're bundling our systems, we're bundling all our services, we want to get you in right now.
Right.
Those numbers is going to shoot up. $35 is for real.
Listen, they're prepping themselves for the next gen, man. And that's right. At the end of the day, that's what it's about.
$35.
And and at the end of the day, competition, as we all know, we've been around long enough to understand, competition is good. The gamer benefits. Let's move on because we beat that thing to death. We gotta finish this up, man. Yo, Lord Addict, man. Gamescom, let's go.
So I wanted to really, Gamescom just happened. A lot Xbox got a lot of feedback over the, when it comes to Xbox. Okay.
Continue. He's laughing about his.
But they got a lot of feedback over their Xbox. So I just want to make this, pretty short because obviously I don't want to run over too much. But do you think that Microsoft is the reason that they're failing in areas such as the reason that they're failing in areas such as anywhere out of the United States, they don't take anything else serious but E3? Like, do you think that maybe because, let's be real, Gamescom is actually bigger than E3, but they don't even really do anything at E3 at Gamescom. They don't go to Paris Game Show, they don't go to Tokyo Game Show. Pretty much, they don't have really presence in any of these. Do you think that might be one of the reasons that they're losing worldwide? And what's your thought on the Inside Xbox?
No doubt. Let's start with Lord Mooch. I know he's got a lot to say on this.
Yeah, as far as I said this last week, I'll say it again. Gamescom has turned into nothing more than a 350,000 foot traffic arcade. Right? There's not. God bless. They could make this what it was. It used to be the second coming of E3.
Yes.
But there's no more announcements. The announcements that are made are stuff that we've already heard about for weeks, or a bundle we don't care about. Inside Xbox is what it is. We kind of got to talk about that. Right, I don't think, if you want to grade Inside Xbox on an A through F scale, the best one we've seen is a C-. It is what it is, right? Real talk. And I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but realistically, here's where I'm at with Inside Xbox. People write me all the time, hey, Mooch, you going to be watching or checking out Inside Xbox? I'm at the point right now is if I can, I will. But I certainly am not moving anything in my schedule for it. You know what I'm saying?
Mooch, I feel you. And I should have took your advice. I should have taken.
I told you, man.
What's funny is LordCognito told me that morning, man. They moving different than they usually do.
I got fooled.
Up and watch it.
I got fooled.
They fooled you.
I was like, it's Gamescom, and then Nelson's talking about, and then they got the little. Remember, they had the little sign, maybe new hardware. Yeah. This might be something different. I got caught out there, Mooch. I
can't blame you. After Gamescom, he's like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I messed up.
That's it.
I laughed because I knew they was trolling.
They really are at this point. They're trolling all of us. And realistically, I always joke around. Like, one of my favorite employees that Microsoft has is actually AC Bongos. But I give him a little shit. I love him. Great dude. But realistically, they don't give that man the right platform. Did you see him? They literally he went from the UK over to Germany just to show off some Xbox socks. I'm like, what the hell? Give something for AC to do in the corner over there. He's over there promoting
I don't like all access. I think that the EA that stupid thing that they need to throw that in the throw it inside Xbox in the bushes.
That's gotta go.
I
don't think it needs to go, but I see what you're saying.
I think what it needs to do is they need to consolidate it. They need to make it shorter. They need to get
point in it. We beat this horse to death. Follow Nintendo's model.
It needs to be a direct, like a Nintendo.
Yes.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see people. I don't.
45. Yeah, 45 minutes. I don't record it. Send it out. Let's just use that money wisely. Okay. Right. Stop having all these people on there.
The only time I would say that needs to be longer is like E3 or Gamescom. If you want to make like an hour,
E3 is different. That's fine. E3 is different, but I agree with Mooch, man. It's got to be boom, 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 trailer, information, in and out. Get the information. And that's it. And
it has to be like a man shopping. Like right now, and this is no disrespect. When I go shopping with my daughters, their heads are in the clouds. Like, what's going on? Like, this is the first time we're in the store.
Right.
When I go with my son, I see the impatientness in his eyes. He's like, yo, daddy, let's get it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yep.
No, finish up.
You know, when I was a kid and I was walking through the mall, to use King's example, like I'm sitting there, every mall now has got couches and chairs in the middle of the hallway. Who's hanging around?
No.
Like I gotta get what I gotta get. I got my list in my head. I know what I gotta do. I gotta get out. Right. And you're right. My son, when it comes to you go to shopping with your son's like, are we leaving yet? I'm like, I got one more thing. We gotta get out of here. Yes. You know? Yes. And you strategically park the car next to the last store so you get the hell out of there.
So I thought I was the only person that did that.
No, we're the same. When you said that, my eyes opened. I said, "This is exactly what I'm like." Realistically, getting back to it, these are 2 hours. They're bringing the dev out. Yeah. The dev is coming out. Half of them don't speak English, so we're all like, and I'm not talking about the Germany thing. Like when they had the gentleman come on for the new Walking Dead game. Yes. Okay, this was the one prior to this one. Man, was that hard to watch? I almost felt like I committed a crime. And they said, Mooch, what you got to do for your penance is watch this dude talk about how he's making the game. And as I'm sitting there, I just had that squint face on, like, why am I doing this to myself? So I'm like, why are you doing this to your customers? We don't care. And when they did that whole thing, right? We don't care.
Hey, you don't lie, Mooch. You love that part where they spent like 15 minutes telling you how they made the arcade for.
Yes, you was about that Dave and Buster's.
You want to talk about the worst of the Inside Xbox? The worst of the worst, I swear to God, was when they did the State of Decay 2, the people trying to break out of that, like they made that that Double Dare set.
Live action.
They had Mark Summers with a microphone. Listen, I got news for you, right? That's for all you old timers out there. But like, all right, he had the Double Dare set trying to get out on time. And then when they were done, and I thought it was done, I tweeted out, I was like, "Thank God that's done." Then Larry comes on, he's like, "And now we did it with the Xbox staff." I was like, "Oh no, did it?" Like Lucas says, "Not like this, Larry. Not like this." I can't defend that. Yeah. So like I was like, this is just the whole thing was just like, I think Inside Xbox definitely needs to be like direct. Make it 45 minutes. Make it short. Get the info out. You want to show me bundles? Show me the bundles. Keep Larry's gloves at home.
Listen, let me
would y'all get off of Larry with these gloves, please?
Man, I can't take. But he keeps
like an old Mickey Mouse with white gloves. No,
yo, first of all, he brings class to it. That's the Vanna White of the situation. You're not respecting the
white gloves.
Those gloves don't even fit.
He does. Listen, that's his snick. That's his joint. That's his lane. Nobody's wearing white gloves like Larry. Come on, man.
Nobody's wearing white gloves at all.
I'm done. Let me jump in because Mooch got me hyped. Listen, man, this thing has to be condensed. At the end of the day, it has to. Listen, I want to be very clear, though. I am happy that it exists. I want to be very clear. Like, I don't want it to completely go away. I like that we get some information, although it feels more like a marketing product placement show right now at this point. All to me they got to do is shorten the joint. There was some positive. We got the PUBG 1.0 going official. We got my Master Chief Collection.
That was a big deal than people thought. Like,
that was really Master Collection in Game Pass. I know what you call it, Lord Mooch didn't care for the State of Decay situation, but at least they had the Daybreak pack going on. You know what I'm saying? And the huge one for me personally was the Supermassive Games that had that Madden or whatever it's called.
Man, Medan. Yeah.
It's a 3-part series.
Right. And that's from like the Until Dawn kind of style. Yeah. And I like that kind of stuff. That's them. Like it can't be humor. Who's gonna live? Who's gonna die? Like the horror stuff. But yeah, the pacing is awful. Too much with the cringy jokes. And let's get to the elephant in the room. What's up with those bundles, man?
I know.
So disappointed.
Man, another wasted opportunity.
Like they are almost the kings of the night. Like remember when the Gear consoles came out, the red, it did all it, and then I'm just seeing these generic boxes with different stickers slapped on, and I'm like, what is this?
Cognito, I gotta say, the reason why you're getting that now, when we were getting the winning boxes is because we were like close to winning. We're in parity with the systems. And as the gap got wider, so did the production on complete like elaborate consoles. Now they're giving you a weird shade of color like lime green gray, some weird color with Call of Duty in the box.
Custom styles.
Nothing. You're not going to get that.
Inexcusable, though. But here's the thing.
Yeah, because when you look over at Sony and you see that Spider-Man system, and you're like,
absolutely.
Or that 5 million system, and you're like, they doing
There's
it.
no excuse for Forza Horizon 4 not to have one. That's your baby.
Brother.
That game
I think that's
fantastic. And
I think that's going this gen.
What you think?
I think it's going this gen. Because of the losing factor.
Oh, I see what you said. You think they're just not going to invest in that right now?
Nobody in the marketing department is going to fund a situation where you're not going to be in the lead.
Number one exclusive for the holidays. Like, how can you?
It don't matter.
Pump your chest
but we
out.
got a box for you with it come in the box
with the sticker.
The controller might have a little logo, but we're not doing the elaborate. I know you're used to that. But when you were winning.
Well, let me ask you a question, King. This is for the whole panel, but realistically, let's talk about custom consoles just as a broad subject, okay?
I don't care whatsoever.
At the age we're all at, I can't have a fluorescent, shiny, vertical standing console when you walk into the family room. I just can't do it. Okay, I'm sitting here. Listen. I jump on the sword of the grenade for all of us gamers anytime and tell people, don't tell me you're gonna watch The Bachelor every night and I can't play video games. But but I certainly am not gonna have it when you walk into the family room. I'm gonna have all these consoles that are multicolored, all changed up, looking crazy. It don't work like that when you get older. So hear me out. No, it's not. But here's the thing. I am all about custom consoles when it comes to value. Okay.
Right.
And when it comes to value, I did go pick up the Gears Xbox One S, right? But the second the X came out, and I saw that some dude was like crazy who's got Gears tats up and down his back. He's like, I'll give you $400 for it. I was like, sold to that dude. So I'm doing the same thing right now. I just got $250 credit at GameStop for my PS4 Pro, all right, my regular PS4 Pro, nothing fancy on it, to up to the PS4 Pro Spider-Man. I'm getting that Spider-Man edition.
Thank you.
It's coming with the game. It's coming with the game, right? So you take $400 minus the $65, which is what it is with tax in New York, okay? $65, I'm buying that anyway. So that's already taking that thing down to about whatever, $340-ish, right? $250 for my PS4 Pro. Dude, you're talking about for $100, less than $100, I'm going to walk out with this thing, and I know that I'm going to get at least $300 for this thing and a trade-in, and I paid $100 out of pocket.
Yeah, when you get that PlayStation 5.
Thank you.
I feel that. Now imagine if they had the Forza Horizon 4 one and it looked real snazzy, and you catch somebody out.
But that Forza Horizon 4 one ain't getting you $350 aftermarket. You know that's not happening.
It's not that. And you know what? That's my point exactly.
So you think it just came down to the title that it was? It just wasn't something sexy enough that they could kind of package?
No.
I think it's one of those things where they just like, you know what? It's the end of the gen. We're not really focusing on this right now. We're kind of gearing up.
Their ideas is not in the losing. They're in the losing position. Sony is lapping the bases, so you can get extravagant with your dances. You can do dumb things around the bases as you're winning. So you're like, yo, how about we put out 5,000 of those PlayStation Million systems that nobody got, but all these executives have. And I wanted that one. Like, if I was gonna get rid of my system, I definitely would have paid for that one. But I wanted the Spider-Man. But then I thought about it. I said, I don't really play that thing that much anyway. But the Spider-Man looks very cool. Can I have a real system for the Xbox One X? Yeah, I would. But I really like a crackdown system where something nice, something snazzy.
But and LG Sting is saying, he's like, this Sting is agreeing with me. He's like, yeah, but King, wouldn't a custom console possibly catch the eye of someone who might be on the fence? That's all I was saying. Like, I was just like,
I think that $35 to catch that eye faster. I'm just saying. Get off that fence.
Well, the thing is that, but think about all these custom consoles, and shout out to Stinger in the chat. Like, Sting, I'm with you on the way you're thinking. I really am. But the thing about it is, it goes back to what King originally said when we talked about this. These are all limited edition. Even the Spider-Man, they're all limited edition. So even those few people that are going to change their minds to go and pick up that other one, is it worth it? Because from what we heard, we had what's his face there, Craig Duncan on MNC. Right? And shout out to Craig, awesome dude. But he said, the money, time, and cost that goes into those and the planning, they don't just slap, like when Xbox does it, they don't just slap the sticker on it, right? So to get those one or two, maybe few people, I shouldn't say one or two, but maybe the 50, 100 people that weren't going to, that are going to go do that. That's something I can't answer, but I don't know if that really is dollar for dollar the amount of money they're putting into that custom console to get that, right? So, and then I don't think for us consumers, depending on what it is, when you get something like a Spider-Man or you get something like a Gears or a Halo, something like that, or maybe even an Uncharted, something where you have a ridiculously large abundance of followers that are willing to pay over the market value later when it's not obtainable, that's when you have a value. And I don't think if you Forza Horizon 4, listen, I'm excited for Forza Horizon 4, but I wouldn't give you more than what's on the shelf for that. You know what I mean? Like, that's me, right? I'm not giving you any more than that. We got to talk, dollars for dollars. But I do see what Stinger's saying, and that may change people, but I don't think it changes the corporate thought on how much money they got to spend.
No, now you're making the right point, and I do agree with you. That's a valid point. They may just say, hey, like from that standpoint, it's not worth that investment.
Yeah, it's not feasible.
Saul, you got anything? When we roll out?
I don't care about it. I want a black
You think I don't care? I'm with you.
Like when the S came out, I got the white one. I got the white one because that was the only one out at launch. Otherwise, I would have gotten a darker color. So, the last crazy console I got was a purple GameCube. That's it.
Cool. I'm up. That's the last one. This will be super quick.
Isn't GameCube always purple?
No, they came out with black ones.
They came out with black one. All right, this will be quick, y'all, because I know we're going over. This will be super quick.
No, and I just want you to notice how he titled it Nintendo NPD.
We just got to talk about what's going on in the industry right quick.
The hell with this topic. I think this topic can go straight to the bush.
I know you. So obviously, Saab, since we all in agreement here with this topic, had to be done. Yeah, man. So obviously, the MPD
Nintendo cool. Let's move on.
No, let's not. Shout out to our good friend to the realm, Matt Piscatelli. That was great. The MPD numbers have come out, and obviously Nintendo has won the MPD best-selling hardware for July. Tremendous what they're doing right now. He had a bunch of tweets as far as big month for them, and of course, Octopath Traveler, the best-selling game. So Nintendo took top software publisher honors. And as far as like accessories have grown up, revenue from even Xbox has grown up. They even had the I believe it was the white controller was like one of the top selling accessories, which I thought was very interesting. Yeah, man. So it's just a good time for the industry. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing the MPD numbers with the top 10 stuff is pretty interesting. Obviously, Octopath at 1, GTA 5, holy ish. Like, wow, right? Like GTA 5 is crazy. And then I just thought that also looking at the list as far as the top 10, we had like at least 5 Switch games in there. You got Octopath, you got Mario Kart, you got Zelda at 5, Super Mario at 7, and you got 10 is Mario Aces. So I know, Mooch, you talked about this actually on Crossfire. I did listen. It's a great segment you guys had on that. And you made some funny points that I've got to get into. But I want to start with Lord Addict here, because me and him have had some fierce debates about the Nintendo Switch. And I just wanted to ask him one question. Obviously, the Octopath Traveler question, because I know we all know that MPD does not count digital sales. So to Lord Addict, do you at least think this is impressive, that Octopath Traveler, Switch game, where only the physical sales were counted, won the month?
Look, man, this is what's going on. People are buying, people
these dudes is out here. You just actually sat there and that was a snake move. Like I gotta yell out fraud on you because you sat there, you laid it out very disgustingly for him, and you knew he had to eat and swallow that pill. Addict, do your thing, do that. Okay, let's stop. Do that.
I'm just curious.
Nintendo not having
I'm just curious if this.
Let's be real here. Nintendo not having third parties, it's actually starting to help them out because when people pick up that Switch every month, they're like, "Yo, these 5 games are the only things we're playing."
Tell them, I ain't got no choice but to eat the mashed potatoes because that's the only thing they got. Get out of here.
I get it. I get it. King, my brother.
Get it, meatballs again.
This is how a GameStop thing goes. Yeah, man, I'm gonna get the Switch, man. I really like the Division 2. Oh, about that. Well, what about Destiny 2? About that. What about Red Dead? About that. What about Call of Duty? About that. Well, damn, what do they have?
We got that Zelda though.
For the record. This is not impressive. This is nothing. This is
they have five of the positions that was on top. Like Zelda was out the beginning of last year. Like it's impressive. Zelda's still selling out games that just came out. It's impressive. Mario Kart's still selling out games that just came out. It's impressive.
Here's the thing, Addict, that you got to kind of bring up before I lose this thought. King said something earlier in the show where he goes, if you're not first, you're just you're a loser, right? You're first loser. My point being though is here's something that's kind of it's hard to even put this into words, but we were saying this on Crossfire. The Switch is the must-own second console. Yes. Now let me explain this to you. You're probably going, what are you talking about? That means you've got Xbox fans and PlayStation fans alike. Both sides. So you've got the 80 million camp and the 40 million camp arguing over that whole thing.
They won't buy the other one, but
you got 120 million people buying the Switch. So my whole thing is this, right? You've got both of them that'll buy the Switch. It's everybody's go-to second. So you either hear PlayStation guys go, I'm a PS4 and Switch owner, or you hear Xbox guy, I'm Xbox and Switch, but the Switch is always in the conversation. And now with time, that's why I think you're seeing all of their titles, all their software, because as people keep going and keep buying this Switch, those games, listen to all of it. And listen, you guys always have a guest on. You always ask all your guests, what's the games you guys have growing up? People are throwing Zelda at you left and right.
Yeah, that's the number one by far.
So whether you played Breath of the Wild, whether you loved it or you hated it, whether you played 15 minutes or 15 hours, my point is that you bought it.
Right.
And that's the thing. Nintendo's got that nostalgia that they've wrapped us all up in. They put a new sticker. And listen, I'm a sucker too. I love some of those games, right? But the Nintendo Switch, and let me tell you something. The Wii U got a bad rap, but I bought the Wii U day one too. Okay, just like I bought the Switch day one.
The only reason the Wii U was bad is because Nintendo stopped caring about the Wii U.
Well, you know what it was? They kind of went to the party and they were like, "Oh shit, somebody already brought the dip." You know what I mean? They're like, I gotta go back. So they were coming back to the party, but they had to go back and get the shit they needed,
Oh my God.
So they were like, because the Wii U had a tablet that couldn't leave the couch. We just said we were doing that with the Game Gear in 1993. So the whole point of the matter is they had to go back to the drawing board and they spit out a new console really quick. And they did a good job with it. They did a hell of a job. I like what the Switch is. The Switch is not going nowhere. So when I see Nintendo wins NPD, we're still on that Wii U hangover.
Right.
Once you get over that Wii U hangover.
And this is the point of contention me and Attic had back then, is I don't think enough credit is given to the fact that Switch digital sales are not counted.
That's right.
That's why I feel the
stop banging that point, man.
Other person.
You're not a nice winner. You're not a nice winner. Like you don't win nice. You're a dirty winner. Like you want to sit there and rub somebody's nose in your win. You're the dirty winner. Get out of here.
When it comes to the Switch topic,
I'm tired of saying you won. We've been in the league.
Lord Mooch, Do you think that's impressive? That's all I
stuff
say.
on it, okay? Nobody buys stuff digital. It's not like that. I still stand wholly behind that
stand
word.
on the fact that it's not impressive that they're winning on just physical sales.
Yo, why are you pounding this man to death like this? Yo, listen. Okay, listen. You guys won.
He wants me to bend the knee to that digital stuff.
Listen. Y'all won.
He wants you to say mate. He wants you to say mate.
He just want him to concede so bad that they're doing this. And they also doing it with one hand tied behind their back.
No. Make sure y'all know that.
That's all I
listen. You know, when I saw the MPDs come out, I'm not in the corporate boardroom, but I hate when y'all MPDs come out and y'all winning. You know why? I want y'all in on a little secret because I gotta hear this crap about they're doing it with one hand tied behind their back. If they start counting those digital sales, you're dead.
Like, they start counting those sales, it might go up.
Switch Gang Billy Rock.
That's me right now. I'm Billy Rocking. Let me Billy Rock today. That's
all. Get out of here. Throw it in the bush.
That ain't happening.
All right, I'll leave it alone. The last point, and this is really funny. Miyamoto's in the news, and this is the very last thing, which I thought was, and shout out to Sal for bringing this to my attention.
Did he step down?
No, he did not step down. But obviously, the Super Mario creator, the legend, and he has some interesting things to say about what's going on with like the free-to-play model, and he thinks that it's a mistake. He's shunning it. You know what I'm saying? He's saying people are nickel and diming the gamers. And instead of that, charging that upfront one-time fee, publishers are increasingly giving games away, selling them at discounted prices. And he's kind of saying that, like, that whole behavior is something like he is completely against. He feels that it stunts creativity in game making and promotes his quote, got this from Bloomberg, gambling-like behavior. So as a result, which resulted the lawmakers in Belgium and Netherlands obviously to ban loot boxes. I'm gonna get this to Lord Mooch. Like, do we think Miyamoto's not in touch anymore? Because obviously we see stuff like Fortnite and how successful this thing is. It's like a revolution.
Just because something's I don't think it's the right direction.
I don't think he's out of touch. I'll be honest with you. He's listen to what you just said right there. I like how you broke it down, Cognito, because when you look at it from an artist or someone like himself that's been in the game since the beginning, stop and think about this. Anybody that's listening right now and anybody on the panel that has any of their kids playing Fortnite, right? Like every 2 hours, it could be 2 or 3, every 2 or 3 hours, the skins change and you can buy them. And these things aren't $5. Yeah. Some of these things are $20.
Yeah.
And, what he's saying is that instead of developing this game, Fortnite, which I have a blast playing with the family, I'm not going to hide that. I put that out there on my sleep. I love the game. I have a lot of fun with it. But realistically, we were playing that same map forever. So instead of getting creative, these dudes are just coming out with like shark costumes and
they give you shark costumes and we're going to put a meteor and just slightly change the map.
Right, and that's what Miyamoto's talking about. He's saying instead of these guys being creative, they're more worried about getting these these costumes switched out to make cash. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a business, but what I'm saying is when you have this many people and you're making this kind of money, that's $1 billion franchise at this point. You should have a team dedicated to making. They should have a team dedicated to make the game better and somebody making the skins. Right now, and this is where he's going with. If every game, right, and now there's this rumor that Battlefield 5, is going to have the Ring of Fire coming out. This Ring of Fire, which is a battle royale mode that's going to be free to play, and they're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
What you're going to lose?
Go get it.
Right? You're going to lose people working on the Battlefield 5 game to work on making new skins and guns and different helmets that you can wear during this, right? And the money's going to go up, but the creativity is going to go down. And that's what he's saying. So do I think that here's the thing. If we just have the big boys that go and do that and they want to branch out and have a team dedicated to making these types of free-to-play games, I say go for it. But what Miyamoto's talking about, that's such a very, and pardon me if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize. But the thing about it, right? And the thing about him, what he's saying that's correct is like these teams that he's probably got working on his first-party games in the Nintendo world, they're not going to take the talent that is working on these games. And you see Octopath Traveler, which, to King's point, he makes a funny point, but it is kicking ass and taking names.
No, I'm playing. I got it.
The game is good. But I'm saying you can't take people off that development to start making new skins and free-to-play games. These people are utilizing every single pair of hands they have to make these great games.
Right.
So, realistically speaking, I myself, I don't go as far as some of these things you see on Twitter where people go off the deep end. They're like, oh my God, gaming's going to end. It's all going to be like we're going to have 55 different versions of Fortnite.
Right.
No, but at the same time, you do have to say as a consumer that it would be nice if we could just pay the $60 and get the skins versus every 2 hours. I got my son tapping me on the shoulder being like, look, I thought that shark one was cool, but now I can be like this old retro dude that looks like this. And I'm like, well, where does it end? These are $20 a pop. You know what I mean?
Good point. Valid point, man.
It is a concern. It's something to talk about for sure.
Absolutely. I want to give it back to give Sarv in here. Sarv, what do you think about this? You think because you're the one that brought this to my attention. You feel he's off, or do you feel he's doing something?
I don't think he's off. I just think what he's saying is absolutely correct. I think when you're put in a position where you have to develop a game and you're constantly having to update it and having to add stuff to it in order to keep people engaged, there's no creativity there. It's just a matter of like, how fast can we get this content out there? And what he wants to do, I think the mistake they made, let's say with Super Mario Run, right? I think that onboarding price of $10 up front, I think was too high. I think they need to try to make their games. If they want to make one flat rate up front for a game, that's perfect. I think that's what he wants to continue to do because I think he feels at that point they have a vision for the game. They're releasing the game, and when it comes out, that's the game. And I just think the price point for people who are used to purchasing things on mobile platforms, they're used to paying a lot less for it. Like right now, I'm playing a game. I don't never play mobile games. I'm playing a game that's it's called Hold Down, and it's it's kind of like a brick breaker type game, right? I paid $4 for that game, and I've been blazing this game, and it's $4. I paid $4 up front, and I never have to pay.
You see that? He's blazing that game, but he's not blazing Destiny.
No. But this is what I mean. I think and I think he's right in that respect. I think, and his thing is he doesn't care if the other model is making more money. He says, we're going to keep doing this until it's entrenched, until they have to swallow this. And then we're going to make money that way because naturally we're going to make money that way. I think the mistake they did make with Mario Run, I think it was too expensive up front. And I think moving forward, they're going to rectify that. Another interesting thing that he said is that he sort of said, you know what, we have to learn how to play nice with subscription models. I think he sort of gave a big up to Game Pass and what they're trying to do. And he says, I don't know what they plan to do for Nintendo in the future.
If Nintendo does a Game Pass, I'm in. I'm all in.
It's one of those things.
They will never do a Game Pass. Let that go. These dudes will keep dropping out those. This is the same dude. And listen, I'm going to say this in a very nice manner to this man because he is the godfather of this industry and as far as creativity goes. If he's out of touch, he is completely out of touch because he's working for the same company that will throw out minis every other month and try to dominate MVPs off of some minis. So I want you to stop with your fraud in Miyamoto because you're frauding right now. Just because somebody's model is successful and your game is not as successful, you're looking over and you're saying, man, I wish I would have charged for those hats in Mario.
Now, King, don't say that. He's getting these tails with one hand tied behind his back.
Yeah, exactly. They're not counting them digitals. They're not counting them digital. Listen, I'm tired of these dudes looking at something else as being successful. Yes, I don't care. Put Battle Royale and everything. You don't have to play it. It's just up to you.
That's right.
But
well, you know what's
put
funny?
Mario Battle Royale. Maybe the game will sell better because I don't see the game. How's Zelda busting you upside the head? Listen, I ain't finished Mario yet. Listen, work on your creativity because you was off this one. This one was off.
We gotta finish this up. Mooch, Addict, and let's get out of here.
I want to bring up that it's easy to say something when you don't have the hot title that he could do. If he had something that he could have done that was like this kind of style that
like King said, what if there was like a all of Nintendo, like how they got a Smash, what if they did a battle royale with all Smash characters?
Never happened.
I would be lit.
But I think what it is,
we'll buy it.
If your company's 100% against this, Fortnite wouldn't be on the Switch. So it's okay to be. It's okay to not. It's okay to be against it when you don't have it, but it's okay to invite the best friend across the pond to the what's what I'm looking for. You're gonna invite him to the cookout because he got all the hot dogs. Like that's
right. You bring the chicken wing guy over, but you gonna complain about people eating chicken wings. Get out of here, man.
The main stuff he was talking about wasn't so much for the Switch and for like the home console. What he was talking about mostly was the mobile market, right?
Right.
And the mobile market and like the microtransactions are to make money. Are straight up to make money, and a lot of times it's you need to pay to play. Like it's a thing where you're moving forward the game and you're paying. Whereas like Fortnite, that's all cosmetic stuff. Like listen, I doubt very much he has a problem with making money off of skins or whatnot, as long as people have fun with the game. The mobile model's different, you know what I mean? And I think that's what he wants to do.
I think Nintendo in general, and there's no denying that regardless how you feel about their games, there's a reason that 5 of them consistently stay in the top 5. They know how to make games without none of that nonsense. So, but at the end of the day, I feel like his statement, it wasn't greed. It wasn't nothing like that. It wasn't envy. It wasn't jealousy. It was just, I ain't got that yet, so I don't want that. I don't really care for that kind of play and stuff. How many of these devs do you think work on Fortnite that's probably said one point in time, private or public, that they don't like nickel and diamond people, but the moment they see that paycheck, they're like, yo, what else can we do?
Nickel them.
We got some bad news in around Lords. We got to say shout out to Relevant Native, shout out to NLG. Apparently there was a Madden tournament shooting just now. 5 dead, 11 injured. Shooter was killed by police, and apparently he was a contestant that was eliminated in the tournament. So I guess he came back up in there. So rest in peace to all the people who lost their lives foolishly in
Where was this?
Apparently in Florida, just recently. So that's ridiculous. We're gonna end it, but we're gonna end it on some positive. So let's get to the poll and then get Mooch out of here. All right, new poll. With the rumored Xbox monthly subscription service, including the console, Xbox Live, and Game Pass, soon to be announced by Microsoft, do you think this can negatively affect gamers? The choices are A, yes, targets young gamers, bad credit, and financial debt. B, no, pro-consumer friendly option. Or our favorite, C, I don't care. What about them exclusives, though?
That could be. That's in every poll, right?
Some weirdo stuff
for a Sony base. That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the ILP poll when it comes on Twitter tomorrow. Lord Mooch, an absolute pleasure.
Outstanding, man.
So much fun stories for days. Where can the fine people find you, and what do you have cooking up?
Let me say first and foremost, thank you to the Lords for having me to the round table. It is an honor to be here. Way too long. We should have done it years ago, to be honest with you. Absolutely. And you know what though? It don't matter. We got years left in us, so we're gonna do this. Can't wait to bring you to the realm of Crossfire. Some of you guys have been there, but the ones that haven't need to come on. Yes, we will make sure that happens. So first and foremost, let me say thank you again to everybody here and the chat. Outstanding chat. That chat was on fire today too. So thank you to all you guys for doing that. Where you can find me is, of course, the Mooch78 on YouTube. We've got Crossfire, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday nights. That's how you start your gaming weekend with us on Crossfire. And then you got MNC evenings on Thursdays, which is partially on my channel as well, 7 p.m. And we're doing a huge Guess That Metacritic. It's this Thursday. You got to come and check it out. You call it when we play the theme, you get that Spider-Man. Guess the Metacritic. The closest, the winner gets the game. So I got it. We're doing 3 calls. We've been doing 3 callers a week for the past 3 weeks. This will be the last week. So we'll have I think it's going to have a total of 12 contestants, and then whoever's the winner gets the game. It's that simple. So check it out, man.
That number in the chat, man. Let our chat get an opportunity to get this game.
Yeah, I want it on this too because I'm going to say 72. Right? I'm going to say 72. No. Well, I'm not going to win it. That's not going to be the one out, man.
You know there's too many Spider-Man fans in the media to go 72. People coming in, calling in with 96, 98, 99. Said, you got to calm down. Stop calling in while you're looking at your Spider-Man tattoo. That don't count. Realistically, I think mid-80s is a legit number. I think
87 is what it's going to get.
Yeah, I went with 86 the last time the Mets did anything relevant.
There you go, 86, baby.
I'm going to go with 91. Just like John. Yeah. I'm going with 91. I played the game, so I know what the game is.
The segment between Addict and King is still in effect. Remember?
Oh yeah,
There
it
it
is.
No, he's definitely lost that now. After
Well, I really would love for you to bend your knees. All right, so let's let it happen.
Wow. Fair enough.
Let's go.
Man. Absolute pleasure, man. Long overdue.
Thank
the
you
treaty
very
is
much.
signed and
Yes,
delivered.
sir.
It's all about unity. It's all about gaming, having
That's right.
fun. And we
totally
prove without a
appreciate it.
shadow of doubt that our realms can make that happen.
Yes.
Very proud of you.
Numbers prove that. You see the numbers, you see the
Exactly.
engagement, the people
want
are still
unity. At the end of
engaging.
the day,
That's what I'm talking
we
about.
all
King.
listen to each other. We
Yes.
all are gamers. We all have our different opinions, but this is the common thread. Thank you once again.
Thank you all
Lord,
too.
you already know, man. Lord Addict, what you got going on? Where can people find you?
I ain't doing nothing but getting this dumb stuff on Destiny done.
so heroes, baby. My man.
Get it.
Now, anything projects coming on? Any little videos, any little previews we might be getting while you're not playing Destiny?
Well, I'm doing a video, probably be out tomorrow on All Access, but that's all. The rest is dedicated to Destiny because I'm not going to sit here and be told I can't enter the room to play the raid because I ain't high enough or I ain't tall enough. That's not happening.
Fair enough.
Tell him you ain't big enough to ride this roller coaster.
Lord Sub, where can the people not find you playing offline and not playing Destiny?
You might find me playing Destiny, maybe. Let's see how I feel.
See how you feel.
You'll definitely find me playing the Messenger on Thursday. Pick up the Messenger, whatever platform you're playing on. Pick up the Messenger on Thursday.
Yes, beautiful game. Spiritual Ninja Gaiden successor. Met with those devs out in PAX East. Fantastic game.
Y'all better be playing.
Remember
LordCognito,
you tried to do the meeting like a day before you had it scheduled. Try to roll over there and get it done.
Yeah, I was out of control. I was a little thirsty for that one. That was good. That's what's up, so Lord King. Where can people find you? What you got going on?
You can find me on Xbox. You can find me on Twitter. Actually, getting bombarded by these fearful PlayStation. Yo, I just want to say, shout out to Mooch. Love the voice. I listen. I listen to crap all the time. I really love his stuff. I listen to the podcast when I get a chance, and the fact that you're here. And the numbers is still at 70 watching, and the likes. You have some people that hit the negative button, and for those people, I know for you even to sit here and to put a negative, you still like the show, and inside you is burning that the world didn't blow up when you looked outside the window.
They think it was possible. They told us not to. Lord Mooch.
You know what? I don't get the BS, and I never will because. At the end of the day, he's gonna go pick up a controller just like I am. We're gonna go do the same thing. We're gonna game.
Facts.
But listen, y'all guys are getting this thing weirded and mixed up. That Instagram is not my Instagram. All right, let's just let you know this right now. So don't think that you putting messages to me because I'm not looking at them. Don't think you commenting on pictures and I don't care. That is an IOP public page that 4 people have access to, that 4 people put pictures in, that 4 people could add people to. I don't add people. I don't know who half of you are. So listen, get to that part right there. So I don't want to get it misconstrued that you guys think it's King's page. It is not my page. It is the King's page. All right. The same thing if y'all understood about the Facebook. Now, if you want to individually interact with any one of us, we all have Twitter. If you go to the ILP Twitter page, we are all there. And you can click on us and talk to us. But if you think you're doing it in Instagram, talking to me, I don't hear you. All right? So just leave me alone there and look at the pictures. That's what Instagram is for.
No doubt.
Shout out to our Instagram. Go ahead and follow that.
Follow us on Instagram after that.
Yeah, go follow us there, but don't try to interact with me there. I'm not there.
Follow us on it. No doubt, man. Lord, it's a pleasure, man. Yeah, man. We got so much cooking up, a lot of stuff, some more special things, hopefully in the work for September. I don't want to blow the lid off that. Again, thank you so much. Hit the like and subscribe to the Inner Circle Network, all the media outlets. Tick was last night. Multiverse is up again. Double XP, the whole gang. Also, Lord Kaibatsu will have the timestamps up in the description for the audio later tonight. I want to shout out the stream team, Lord, Sonaldo, you know what I'm saying? Super G, Osu, Scout Lady, L Oogie. We got some more things cooking up. A new signee, Lord Nintendo Direct will be hopefully soon. We're getting the paperwork done. We're getting the signing going. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to have some stuff cooking up with him. And of course, for my Destiny lovers on the ILP channel, Flashpoint 28 with Ebontis was up. Fantastic. You're getting ready for Forsaken. If you're getting hyped, if you want to come back, please, this is the time to check it out. And of course, thank you to all the patrons. We really appreciate it. We're trying to continue to bring good content. I know we went long, Lord. Shout out to Jonathan B. Said this was the longest intro of ILP ever. You are hilarious. But we got to get out of here. Everyone enjoy their Sunday. Anybody got anything else? You good? Lords are good? All right, let's get out of here, man.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mooch.
All right.